Hello, good evening, happy Friday to everyone. How you doing? Someone said that 8:08 would be the time. It was 8:07, so y'all are off by a minute. You know, it's Friday. We do Friday things. We do Friday things, and we have a week. We have weeks. We do have weeks. How you guys doing? For those of you new to the channel, and for those of you who are here, please remember to hit the like button. I forget to tell that to people all the damn time. So hit the like button. Please do that and just let people know you're here. Tune in the chat. Let me know where you're coming in from and how your week was. I want to hear all about it. So here for years, I was off by 1 minute. Yes, you were. You were off by one single minute. I did want to call out a lovely trolling comment. Where was it? Where was that trolling comment that I saw from a good friend of mine? I may well be asleep by the time Rob starts the stream. I don't think so. I hope you're not asleep. Just saying. So, how we doing? How we doing? How's the week? I had a heck of a week. So, things are things. And, you guys are really perceptive. So whenever I have an off day or an off week, I will immediately get DMs the next day going, hey, you seemed off last night or yesterday. That's true. Sometimes we're off. Sometimes we're just not, running full force. Hang on 1 second. Got to do a YouTube-y thing. What to do? Let's see here. Because, of course, I forgot to do something. Okay. We're back in the swing of things. So we had a weird week this week. It's been a weird couple of weeks, honestly. That might be why it might seem a little bit off, but where are you guys tuning in from? What are you drinking? Did you have a good week? Did we all have a week? Thanks for all the memberships. There were a lot of memberships. Let me do that real quick. We'll call those out. So Ange Torres gave 5 memberships, then another 5 memberships. Chrissy Lee sent a member chat saying, happy Friday all. Twisted Puppet sent a member chat saying, hype, hype. Hezo1 sent a chat. Hi, chat. Happy Friday. Judy, you got this. Sent a member chat after 10 months. Everyone just ignore SBF over the shoulder. Yep. Time Lords gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Time Lords. Brandy Bradley, 5 gifted a membership. Thank you very much. XCDA gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. Chuck Wilson gifted 10 memberships. Thank you very much. Lady Drake gifted 10 memberships. And then playing a little bit of catch up. Thank you, Lady Drake. Canonical Heat has been a member for 4 months and counting, and gifted 20 memberships in appreciation. Thank you very much for that. And Neurodivergent Counselor came in and gifted another 10 memberships. I see something from my friend Uncivil. Audley Bell gifted membership or a member for 9 months, said ready with a glass of rosé and strawberries, brie, and crackers midsummer's eve day here in Sweden. I have heard. And then Sherry C. Mills has been a member for 6 months. That's amazing. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. So let me see if I can't play a little catch up. So StreamYard was, and they are. They're auto starring. Uncivil. Did you see the surprise Supreme Court decision in Ray? In Ray Lima. I'm going to say that's pronounced Lima. The G is silent. There is no G. It is silent. That is in Ray Lima. No, I did not. I saw a bunch of decisions, though. Supreme Court is doing Supreme Court things. So all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah, I see people in the backstage who have the power to come on stage whenever they so desire.
I just wasn't sure, if I should wait for a particular time.
This is the appropriate time. Hello from Canada.
that it is, I guess. How are you doing?
It is. I'm doing okay. It's been a week, my friend.
Oh man, you have no idea. I've been buried in writing a memo. It has been the worst thing, and
you got it filed.
I got it filed. At least I hope so. I sent it off to a colleague of mine who said he'd file it, so hopefully it got filed. So yeah.
I mean, one can hope it was filed on time, not like other pleadings that might have been dismissed this week for late filing. Not to name anyone in particular that we might be covering tonight, but maybe a little bit. Lindsay's having an iced Irish coffee in Seattle this evening. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do and a wonderful place to be, especially this time of year. Aaron Ryder. Hi, Rob. Oh, celebration. Here we go. Aaron Ryder, glad to be here. I got my teaching license. Congratulations, Aaron. That's awesome. That's awesome. Congrats. LK Ryden, happy midsummer from Sweden to everyone celebrating. Indeed. And then Cloak Librarian became a member. Thank you, guys. So, let me see if I can't catch up. Chocolate popcorn. Who is saying chocolate popcorn?
I don't know, but that sounds it's one of those things that's either going to be delightful or terrible. So
Zero sugar wine. Another one of those things that sounds like it could be delightful or terrible. So,
that I'm going to just go and say that was terrible. So
yeah. Kurt was trolling. He tried to say, "Did I see the in the Supreme Court case in Ray Lima?"
I saw that one, and I think you've got the name pronunciation exactly correct.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's a very common name in some parts of the world.
This is the best place for Fridays. Hi, Ian. Hi, Ian. Indeed, and it is a great place to be on Fridays. So, why was my week thrown off a little bit? Several reasons. One of which, folks, if you have adult children, if you are of an age where you have adult children, it behooves you to take extra care and precaution in your steps and where you're walking and how you're placing your feet. Because that balance thing just ain't the same as what it was when you were younger. You can have a fall. Into a boat.
Yep. And a boat is an unusual choice for that.
It was. I was very surprised at the choice. But yeah, so Mama Dukes is fine. But she gave us quite a scare. I think I'm gonna give a shout out to my dad on this one. Guardian Angel Wings, super fast.
He just reached out to do a little catch there, and
I think he did like a catch and redirect, and was like, we're gonna remind you with some painful rib experience, but we're not gonna let the bad stuff happen.
That's a good thing, because
yeah,
we like Mama Morton.
Yeah, we do. And we would like her to not fall into boats.
Or anything else. We're not really, the boats part isn't what we're specific about here.
True.
Just to be real clear on that, in case there's some question. It's not the boat part that's got us upset.
It's the falling.
Yes.
And it's like, you get the phone call. Don't freak out. Oh no.
Oh, that's always a great start to a phone call, isn't it?
Oh, they're the best. They really are. But it is what it is. And I think we've had this communication, like, as you get older, life just gets better at throwing you curveballs. So you better learn how to hit them, because you're just going to keep getting them.
That is true.
So, and then, shout out to a couple of friends of mine who are dealing with some difficult stuff after the passing of her father, his father-in-law. So I hope they're doing okay. I know they had a bad week, but I did want to say hi because I know they watch the channel. So, Carrie, Caroline, if you guys are out there, sorry you had a bad week. It gets better. Not really, but it does.
Chrissy just recently had a birthday.
So, yes, she did.
Happy birthday to her. We'll have to make sure she gets a proper shout out here. Also, rose without, or is it rose with a thorn or without a thorn?
Rose with a thorn. With a
I think
thorn.
It's with.
Rose with.
Yes.
I think it's with. We got birthdays. So happy birthday.
Birthdays.
Happy birthdays to the birthday cruise. Happiest of birthdays. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Get outside if the weather turns nice, because we had a little impromptu storm, but it looks to be a decent weekend coming up. So, Gwendolyn, I'm celebrating 1 year since I survived diabetic ketoacidosis and hot brain. I'm feeling much better now. Wow, that's wild. Ooh. Sister called with alert of a sudden family death. Oh yeah, see the phone calls, guys. Don't preview the phone calls with the random stuff. They're always hard. They're really hard when you're far away because you freak out, you can't do anything. But the calls are important. You guys keep in touch with your kids, keep in touch with your family if you can. Island, Jen from the yarn store says, hi, Jen from the yarn store. That's amazing. So I don't know if you know this, but Lawyers and Dragons that we've been doing every Saturday, except for this tomorrow. We're on off week.
Although I think I'm doing something with David.
David? Okay, is it on his channel?
I think so, but like you're out, Alita's out, Rick's out, and David was like, who's in for something? And everyone was like, me. Oh, wait, not me. So it's still just me now. I'm the only one who's still. So I guess I'm the nerd who's still got nothing else to do, but I'm okay with that.
Oh no, I was previously committed and just did the ADHD thing of not putting it on my calendar.
Oh, absolutely. It's a pretty popular ADHD thing. Yeah. My wife sometimes is like, so you remember we're doing this tomorrow, right? And I'm like, just kind of stare into space. It's like, yes, I do remember that. She's like, yes. No, you don't.
No, you didn't. You didn't. That's really cute. You had to catch it though.
Yeah, it's like she's like, not even a little bit. We're not gonna pretend that one. So yeah.
Jill Higgins, thank you for the super chat, is enjoying a Tito's and soda while trying to pack for a Daughters of the American Revolution conference in DC next week. That's awesome. I graduated from DAR Hall. So Montgomery County High School students graduate from DAR Constitution Hall. I think they still do that now, but every high school graduates from there. So it's really pretty cool. It's a beautiful auditorium, but hope you have a great time. DC is hot, but don't worry about it. It'll be fun. John Common has been saying, it's been a bad week, and I was watching videos of how silicone toys are made. Then you came on and saved me. Thank God. Yeah, we've got better stuff than that.
Those scare quotes are doing a lot of heavy lifting.
It's a lot of lifting.
I feel like this is like a Goop website kind of moment.
Might be.
We're not gonna do any inquiry into.
Nope.
Yeah.
The algorithm is the algorithm, and we're not gonna say anything about it. Here for years, Rob and Ian, you were both looking particularly fetching tonight. Stress seems to suit you. Why, thank you.
For years. I hope that's not what I have to do to look fetching.
Life can be stressful. I've got a potential good change in employment around the corner, but that's been causing me stress for several weeks because I've been practicing in the same my firm for the past 12 years.
That's a big change if you're messing with that.
Yeah. So it's a lot of decisions. And you know what? I carry all of my stress in this region. Like right there, right about in the neck. Like you carry it in your back.
Oh, my back is a source of stress. It's like where stress emanates because it's where it lives.
Yeah. So when I do this a lot, it's because of that junk. But life's going to throw you curveballs. You run with them, and you just make the best decision you can for you and your family. Thank you here for years. That's very much appreciated. Very kind of you to say. Jessica, I'm sorry that you're in bed rest due to a knee injury. I hope that we can make tonight a little bit more fun. We've got some sanctions to talk about that are rather interesting.
Oh, I was going to talk about that on Monday too, but
no, there is plenty to go around in this.
Oh, that was just like, I mean, there's going to be a fair bit of overlap on some of our topics, but yeah, that.
Well, we all talked about it.
They kind of got away with it in some ways, but it's going to be expensive. It's going to be an expensive mistake.
Well, It's not going to be expensive. Like the immediate finances aren't going to be the biggest thing.
Oh, the lawsuit
It's
afterwards?
the loss. It's everything else that's going to come of it.
Well, and the fact that for the rest of time,
They are
anybody who does a search for their names is going to see that.
That's the expensive part. That's the expensive part because those things, internet's going to internet. So,
Oh, and they were talking about just how much the internet has been interneting at them. And
which is not the way to handle the internet.
I'm going to keep interneting at them because I think it's hilarious. So
it's just a lesson for all lawyers, man. Excuse me. Thank you for the super chat. I once had a phone call that started. Don't freak out. The bleeding is under control. But yeah, yeah, like don't freak out. All right, immediately proceed to freak out.
I think that the way you start those calls isn't don't freak out. It's everything's okay, but we have some things to tell you. It's like,
yes, we're going to explain where we are, what we're going to do now, and that's how we're going to proceed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Tammy Lee, hi, Robin Ian. Please wish me a happy 50th birthday. It's on Monday. Tammy Lee, happy 50th birthday.
Happy 50th birthday. And I will remind me again on Monday, and I'll wish you a happy birthday then too.
Exactly. That's a fun thing to do. Pam Bystrack, I'm officially retired. Congratulations.
Oh, nice.
I think that's an amazing congratulations. Torin coming to the super chat. This weekend I'll be installing AC in my shop and noticed that the vac pump for the install is large enough for a vacuum table for the CNC router. I don't like you right now.
I am envious of all the equipment you guys have. I've decided. So Roll of Law is kind of my funsies channel. And it makes like no money because it's
like fun.
7,500 subscribers, but it made a little bit of money when Wizards was screwing around. I've decided I'm probably going to set that as like the ridiculous toys I want. I will just try to fund off of that. Now, keep in mind, I will tell you, I will reveal under the hood the secret earnings of the Roll of Law channel for the past like 30 days. And that is, I think it was like $8.50 something cents. Let me just check. So the next purchase I want to make is a laser.
Oh, yeah. I know. You've been wanting that for a while.
I have. And the kind I want is expensive, unfortunately.
I know. Which one? The Glowforge or something similar?
Something similar. Oh, $7.85 is the last 30 days of revenue for the Roll of Law channel. So I'm a ways away. Just saying, but we'll see. But that's kind of my plan, is that then we'll throw that to it. So it should be fun.
I think it's fun. Torin has a YouTube channel, and I think it's Torin 3, isn't it?
Yes, and Torin 3, thank you for helping get me through some of my... I was usually watching on replay, but when I was doing my written submissions and so forth, I was listening to that in the background. Because it was good to have something in the background, but not something that was... like it's something that'll keep a little bit of attention, but not like drag my whole, focus away. So, yeah.
Yep. And that's the thing. Like people don't realize, like when I am tuning into the chat in some of these channels, oftentimes I'm in the shop doing stuff. So people are like, Rob, join. I can't. There's loud power tools, but I'm in there because I just like listening to friends talk about law because I don't have to. I mean, I can chill. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense.
Yep.
So I'm just looking for something because right now, one of my documents is not behaving. So we might have to do one thing first before we get into the Richins case. Liv, Grace, thank you much. Just got jury summons for the same judge from the Matthew, Terry, Trevor, Summers, and Ice Cream Man murder trials. Not sure how I feel about this. You'll be fine. Just be honest in your answers. The funny thing about this, I have seen a number of people, and I think, I don't know if it's the YNW Melly, but there was another trial where in voir dire, one of the jurors said, well, yeah, I watched the Johnny Depp trial. So I kind of know what this process is. And you're going, yes, this is why these things exist. It's supposed to make people not try to dodge jury service, but be willing to participate because you see how much of a vital function you serve, and you need to educate yourself about it.
Well, and at the time when jury service started as a thing, I think a lot more people would have had more of a relationship with the courts than the average person has had these days. Because up until very recently, watching court programming was not very common. And I mean, other than like maybe Judge Judy and so forth, where you've got like fake court processes. But back in the day, people used to go and watch court because there wasn't a lot to do. And that's a good thing. People would know what was going on because they were either watching it or they'd hear from people who watched it. We lost that in a big way, and I think it's good that people are finding that out now again, like what jury service actually looks like.
Yep. So, and it's a good thing because jury service is a way, that's part of our system. So you need to learn about it. So Liv, Grace, don't be panicked. Lindsay, Ian, how did taking those decade-old ADHD meds turn out for you? Well,
they worked. My focus was still awful, but they worked. I was having a hell of a time getting my brain into gear. So it was rough.
Oh no. Hang on.
But like, I didn't die, obviously.
Well, you didn't die. That's the key.
Also, I'd like to, I've got a new business venture.
Oh no.
For $125,000, so half price. We'll put you into a metal box, crush it into a cube, and drop it into the ocean.
Nope. The walls are caving in around me. That's a terrible joke. It's terrible.
It's a bargain.
It really is sad though. It's sad that I feel like we have to mention this. Like what happened was a tragedy. It was a tragedy. People are allowed to do stupid things. This was an undertaking, and I'm talking about the Titan submarine. This is an undertaking that was inherently foolish. Everything about this. This is like, I'm going to go up, and because I trust the lion in front of me, I'm going to pat it on the nose. But it's not a lion. It's 13,000 feet of depth and pressure. There is one outcome that is the guaranteed outcome in the event of any failure.
Do not trust a tech bro with your life.
No.
The same guy who'd be like, hey, buddy, buy my, what is it? Buy my crypto project. Yeah. It's just a bad scene.
I saw media reports that were talking about who this guy donated to politically. Why do I care about that?
I don't. I mean,
it doesn't. It's what does it have to do with anything?
The media gets really they get really in on every little detail is important. So they and I mean, this is not where it's most offensive. Where it's most offensive that they do this is when you'll see like a killer, and they get into like, this is the brand of cereal he liked. It's like, ooh, guys,
they get into all. Yeah, it's like, this is he constantly went to these theater performances. Well, come on, folks.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? And, this, are the Darwin Awards still a thing?
Sort of. The page exists, but they don't add any new entries. And that's because I think the family of one of the deceased sued them, alleging intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Interesting.
And so they were like, we're not going to do this anymore.
Yeah. And you know what? People are all over all of this. This has covered the front page of every freaking newspaper. You know what you don't see news about when that's covering the front page of every newspaper? All of the other
Everything else?
stuff that deserves to be on the front page of the newspaper.
Yeah.
I am 100% sympathetic to the lives that were lost on that vessel. That is remarkably tragic. Those were 5 lives that were lost. Do you know how many lives were lost in Chicago this past weekend, or lives that were lost in drunk driving accidents this past week? A lot more. Do you know how many people have probably tried to flee from a country and drowned on the way? A lot more than that. But the
Yeah, there
media
was that
picks up on
report
the
about
darlings.
the migrants.
Yeah, the media picks up on the darlings, and that's what they go with. And Jeff, I saw you, Jeff. This is your new favorite joke. It's your new favorite joke. What's wrong with the ocean? What the Ocean Gate did, they did great. In fact, they crushed it. The only thing I'm going to say in Jeff's defense, which is 100% in Jeff's defense, Jeff, I see that you sent that twice, my friend. In Jeff's defense, as he described, this is quite honestly probably the least painful way to go that ever existed.
Yeah.
Like, I would never get in that vessel, but we're talking milliseconds.
It's actually less time than it takes your brain to process a stimulus. So there wouldn't have actually been enough time for the signal from their eyes or their ears to reach their brain
Or
about
process
what was
fear.
happening.
Like,
yeah, it's just
like,
literally you just cease to exist is really what what happens there.
Yeah, there's no fear. Well, there's fear. Well, honestly, this happened within the first hour of them descending. It's instantaneous. It's like all of a sudden you're there and you're not. And yes, it's sad, but it's instantaneous. So that's the one bit of relief out of this story, is that there wasn't this, I hate to say it this way, but this long, excruciating time under the ocean waiting to be found and running out of oxygen.
And I am a criminal defense lawyer. We deal with a ton of nasty stuff. And the way we cope with it is we we make jokes about it sometimes because
and that turns some people off, but you know what? It's a fact of life. It's a fact of life.
It's just necessary in order to keep functioning sometimes, because you deal with stuff that's horrible. If you're dealing with divorces and so forth, some of that is awful, and there's just no way to process it other than that. But I mean,
and here's a good example. So uncivil, now introducing Titanic coin, unsinkable. That's not the example. Yes, it's unsinkable, but I wouldn't invest. Just no investment advice. We don't give investment advice on this channel. Here's a way that I kind of equate it. When my dad passed, I'm a golfer, right? So there are range finders that are rather expensive. They're like $400 and $500 for a range finder. It's a laser that says how many yards you are exactly to the flag. And I never had one of these. My dad did. So when my dad passed, my siblings were like, Rob, here's the rangefinder. My brother said, I already have one. So I said, okay, the rangefinder, I will inherit that from my father. So we went and played golf. And there was on this particular course, because this was one where we were supposed to play with my dad, but he didn't make it. So we went and played in his honor, and we spread some ashes on the course. It was a lovely experience. But the caddy grabs the rangefinder and picks it up. And I said, you should be careful with that one. It's dead accurate. And I was beside myself in laughter. My brother was beside himself in laughter. And the caddy's going, What do you mean? I said, no, it's dead accurate. Like it's going to be right on the money, just dead balls on, you know, you drop dead if you get it wrong. Like it's just perfect. That was our way of coping with something we couldn't process.
Oh, and I don't know. I mean, if I like speaking cynically, let's say I get into a car accident tomorrow and it's a horrible car accident, right? There's, limbs everywhere. There's, burnt pieces. There's, I just know that whoever responds to that call will later that night, be joking about it over a beer, because that's how EMTs process it as well. And to the EMTs who end up handling, my remains, if that's what happens to me, good on you. Tell a good one for me, because
here's I can do you one better. To the extent that said person is ever out there and listening, if you do handle a certain Canadian's remains, please know that I am aware of his last wishes. So when you cremate said remains, send that to me. I have a package with a fan to send somewhere. Just saying, if you know, you know, but that's like, yeah, we have to kind of joke with that.
Yeah, you have to have a sense of humor about this stuff, because otherwise it just it eats you alive if you're not careful.
Yeah, you can't process it. But
yeah,
we don't need to do that too much more. People have covered it before. You guys can go check out. Mainstream media is going to cover the hell out of this thing forever. And there's other stuff that I want to talk about because it's more fun. Kristen TM, happy birthday to you, my dear. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday. Sniper's Nest, if you think these jokes are trivial, never try to be friends with a veteran, because these are tame.
Oh, yeah.
Veterans see a lot of shit.
A lot of poop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
And I've been lucky enough to be with, hanging out with a couple or with a few veterans who were sort of letting go a bit, and I can tell you the jokes that they were telling. Yeah, they were pretty rough, but you're not going to step in and be like, hey, that horrible, those horrible experiences you were having. I think you should cope in a different way than, something that is more to my sensibilities. That's not how that goes. So it's tough. I guess the other thing is that now that, I guess in a bit of a topic change, I'll just mention something that I'm working on. And I mention it partially to commit myself, because if I don't sort of say, hey, this is what I'm doing, then I won't have you guys going, hey, how's that thing coming? I'm actually working on a board game. So I've had an idea for a board game for a while. And chat was great. Chat was telling me, like, when I had the hot sauce idea, they were like, hey, you got to get that to happen. And now I've got bottles of this. And then, they've still been saying, hey, when can I get a bottle? So I'm still working on getting that all ready for shipping. So, you guys help keep me honest, and that's a good thing. So, yeah, I'm kind of giving that announcement of like, hey, if you don't hear anything from me on this for a bit, give me hell about it. It's going to be a lot of work, because I got to right now I'm at the stage of I need to get a playable prototype together. And then I'm going to have to do a ton of playtesting with that, like a ton of sample games, just to see if it's, and it might end up being awful. So we'll see.
Accountability is something that I think the chat is good at, and people asking and following up, it is very helpful, guys. It really does matter a lot to us. We don't talk about it a lot because they're private conversations, but it does help keep us motivated when you guys are doing that, especially people who might have some attention deficit issues.
Just a wee bit. And
I wanted to bring this up. This is the last I want to talk about it but you have to know your audience before going dark or tasteless. That's why I'm trying to be careful about it, because you're right. Yeah. It's a read the room situation. And that's why it's appropriate to kind of play it carefully, but also recognize that people are going to have different opinions in one direction or the other. You have to respect the fact that both people or both sides can emotionally cope in their own ways. It's emotional coping, folks. It's what it is. So, yes, Tide, I've had enough water. Thank you.
I have mostly consumed my water in cola form.
Oh, that's not water.
I mean, there's water in here. I think it's the first ingredient, carbonated water.
Mm-hmm. And I got a jury summons. I'm super excited. Congrats. Have fun with it. Crazy Cat Queen, thank you for the super chat. Very generous of you. Twisted a knee yesterday. Concerned me. Need knee replacement, but also need to wait. Call this morning from mom, 86 with dementia, dad in the hospital. Second time this week, third time this year with small bowel obstruction, but can't drive right now. And that's what I'm saying. Life's going to throw you curveballs. It's going to. I am sorry you're going through that. But every time that life throws you those curveballs is a new opportunity to see what you got. And you've got this. You can handle it. Nurse M, mom is 93, poster child for osteoporosis. For the last decade of my brother's call, I don't say hello. I say, what the matter? Yeah, that can happen. Legal vices, cool. I got double billed. Awesome. Buddy, it's you have the mouse button. You do the clicky things. I don't do the clicky things. Shelly Coleman, good month for me. I had a birthday and my son was admitted to the VA bar a couple weeks ago. Life is good. Congratulations on the new Virginia attorney, Ms. Coleman.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. Congrats. That waiting is miserable, but when you see that, it's awesome. So congratulations to your son and to you. Canonical Heat, former emergency dispatcher, you'd be a crispy critter. Black humor is the only way to get by sometimes. It is. And that's it. Like I said, it's people's coping mechanism. That's how they cope with
it. As I said, you're welcome to make the jokes about me when it's if that's what helps you process things, then excellent.
The neurodivergent counselor, thank you. My husband was a Marine and went to Iraq right after 9/11. He and his Marine brothers cope by making jokes all the time that I know make others cringe, but I also know it's what keeps them sane. Like I said, it's not the healthiest coping mechanism, but when you've seen that kind of stuff, it's the only thing you have.
Yeah.
So you cringe and you cringe through it, but you have to recognize the person that's saying it. Susan Faria, thank you very much. Catching up, dealing with stomach bug, much needed FNF tonight. You got it. Thank you, Susan. Ryan Man YYC Ian, let me know if you need some game pieces modeled and 3D printed. Ooh, that's an offer.
Yeah, I might, because I think that there will be some game pieces. Right now I've got some quick mock-ups for cards, but they're just real quick because you can't sort of take forever on them, because you got to get play testing, but Midjourney's been awesome for that. Maybe I can show you guys just a mock-up here.
Yeah, you can pull it up. I've got to pull up a document anyways. While you're doing that, Lindsay is reminding you, chat will harass you to unpack Ian. Your naked doorknob is disturbing.
Yeah, I still haven't unpacked. But yeah, this is sort of one of my playtesting cards that I got to do the rest of it. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
The chat is trolling you.
They're not trolling me. They just have concerns. They're like, we have some thoughts, like don't die. That's not trolling.
Adrian, this is a wonderful idea, but I imagine a lot more complicated than just the idea is to write out.
First step is I've got to get this functional and working. And I mean, we could talk about apps later. So, yeah.
Okay.
Peachy, I didn't hear that. Shoot me an email at runkleofthebailey@gmail.com. That's an interesting one.
What's that one?
Apparently the stepson of the billionaire had a legal issue.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. We shall see. This is going to be, it's the case. You're going to see a lot of news on it. And honestly, there are more appropriate people to cover it than I am. I mean, Jeff, Legal Vices, who was in the chat. Yes, a little morbid humor, but that's how he copes with it because maritime law is maritime law. There's a reason they call it the law of the sea. Like there's some stuff that maritime people have dealt with for centuries that we like common folk will never have to understand.
Yeah.
But he does Maritime Mondays. He's a maritime attorney. So it's like, this is the perfect case for him to break down. So I'm going to leave him to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do this. So do we want to cover, what do you think? Sanctions first, FTX lawsuit against massive political influencer, or Kouri Richins?
I'm kind of interested in the Richins. Can you send me the filings? I haven't managed to pull those yet, and it'll just cost me some money if I do. So
see, that was the
I also
filing
wanted
that was the one that was acting up. So I'm looking for that right now.
I also want to talk about that on Monday because I've been following that case with some interest.
I wasn't until I very much was, because the bond hearing. Well, let's do this. How about you play some of the bond hearing, and I can try to pull up the filings while we're doing that.
Yeah, I actually thought it was interesting because the bond hearing would have gone entirely different here in Canada.
It was quite fascinating. So let me see if I've got this here. I had that one queued up. So, yes, I see. Yes, swoop, swoop de doop, swoop, swoop, swoop. And we have swoop. Okay. So, Kouri Richins is a mother in Utah. Let me give like a synopsis. So let's do it this way. We will give because I did find a lovely timeline that was prepared that helps us understand the specifics of this case. Because it's kind of like, this is one of those, it's like you cannot really believe what's happening. Pull up the screen. There we go. And then we share the screen because we know how to do these things.
Because it's not our first time.
Yeah, I know. So what we know about the murder case of the Utah Grief author accused of poisoning her husband. So Kouri Richins, I think it's Richins, and Eric. Okay, so Eric, he was poisoned by this. So here are some of the
now it's alleged at this point, but
it is alleged. It seems as though the evidence that was produced at the bond hearing is pretty compelling. But
yeah, I mean, but the thing is that everybody's case is compelling at the bond hearing.
Yep, you're right.
So
you're 100% right. And I was walking to that with all the caveats, and then I watched the bond hearing, and I was like, I need to remind myself that I am an attorney, and I need to just wait, because when they got to the phone searches, I was like, oh shit.
I remember, though, I had a case where I ran a bail hearing and it had to be in front of a judge because of circumstances. But I was telling the judge that there were weaknesses with the Crown's case. And the judge said, really, Mr. Runkle, you're going to tell me that there's weaknesses with this case? Like, come on. I won that trial. So I felt like emailing, like sending a letter to that judge being like, told you there were weaknesses with the case, but that wouldn't have been appropriate. So
yeah, this one's tough. Like I feel for her defense counsel. Like I mean,
well, sometimes defense counsel, your job is just to deal with what you got, right?
You do.
So,
and let's walk through what this defense counsel has to deal with. So from 2015 to 2017, Richins is accused of purchasing at least 4 life insurance policies on her husband, totaling $2 million. Now, this, I think, that's weighing too much into it. You know, at this point in time, in 2015, 2017, is that the purpose she has in mind? I don't know. I think this is kind of like
I mean,
lumping
my
on.
wife has life insurance policies with respect to me, but it's not because, well, I hope it's not because she's planning on killing me, and I think I took out most of them.
Yeah.
So,
So
I just
fast
don't want
forward,
her to be in the poorhouse if I get run over by, a septic truck or something.
and this is why this doesn't really mean a whole lot to me, because 15 to 17, now we're talking 3 years later. So you have a 3-year period, 15 to 17, well, 2 years depending. And then fast forward to 2020, that's the next thing. So I'm going, these policies don't mean a lot until we start to get to this stuff. This stuff gets more relevant.
Yeah.
Eric Richins discovered that his wife had allegedly obtained and spent $250,000 home equity line of credit on their home in Kamas, had withdrawn at least $100,000 from his bank accounts and spent more than $30,000 using credit cards. Okay. Also
So
alleged
she likes the finer things in life.
she does.
And I'm guessing that he is unable to provide those to the standard
yeah.
that she felt he should be.
So now these are from the
of your
allegations.
relationship going real bad, folks, is if your partner, male or female, has tastes for life that exceed your that exceed what you're able to provide them, your relationship is probably not going great. Like if they're always saying, hey, you need to make more money so that I can do X and Y, instead of like, hey, we'll roll with what we've got. Yeah.
And this is the thing. So who takes $2 million out on a regular? He wasn't a regular Joe. He was wealthy, and they had a bunch of turnover as far as the amount of money they were bringing in. So this amount is not surprising to me with how much he was actually worth. So I'm not focused on the life insurance policies yet. So it's this stuff. When this stuff starts being discovered, now this is again allegations. We don't know, allegations.
Yeah.
Discovered that they're appropriating distributions made from the business for the purpose of making federal and state taxes. That's a problem. Like if taxes being diverted to her, 134,000, I don't know. That's pretty nasty. In October, Eric Richins consulted both a defense lawyer and an estate planning lawyer. I don't read into that. I've talked about it in the past. That doesn't mean anything to me. The media loves it. They love that. But honestly, the people I have met who just want to know their rights. That's it. They don't have any intention of divorcing. They just want to know their rights.
Yeah.
I don't want to read into that.
Well,
and to his wife, he changed his will. Again, I don't read into this. It's not till later.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some stuff that you're like,
yeah.
The fact that
this is planning. This is preparing.
Yeah, well, this is stuff that looks terrible on the, if there's an argument about planned murder versus like happened in the heat of the moment, this is stuff that looks terrible for that.
Yeah, because this also shows that the marriage might have been in a state where his trust in her had waned, and he had placed his trust in his sister.
Yeah, and just for the people out there, yeah, if your partner sees you just as a just as a paycheck, that's a really bad sign for not necessarily, because most of those won't turn into homicide or anything like that. Most people's relationships aren't that exciting in that sense, but it is a really bad sign for like they're gonna leave you and they're gonna clean out the bank account on the way out, and it's gonna get ugly, and you're gonna hate everything that happens.
Well, and this right here is just smart practice. He transferred his partnership interest in his business to the trust, smart, and designate the trust as beneficiary. That's to buy off the partnership interest. That's smart planning. That's estate planning. That's just smart.
Yeah.
In January of 2022, Eric Richins, I'm going to say Richins, and his business partner had 2 million life insurance policies. They listed each other as the beneficiary, but prosecutors alleged that on January 1st, Richins changed the policy to list herself as the beneficiary, according to the amended court documents. Well, that's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband was alerted to the change, which they do, and put his business partner back as the beneficiary of the document. Well, that's a problem.
That's
Later in the
starting to
month,
tell you that there's stuff going on behind everyone's back, right?
yep. Later in the month, she had a new life insurance policy for $100,000 on his life. Well, you know. And then in February of 2022, Richins either called or texted an acquaintance named CL, who is now, we should just call them CI, confidential informant, because CL is the name of this person, and asked for fentanyl, the document stated. So data from the phone shows that she contacted this informant several times in January, but authorities weren't able to determine the content of the messages because she allegedly deleted the data from her phone.
And the chat, who is ever wise, is telling us that in court they were saying Richins as opposed to Rickens.
Richins, you got it. Richins it is. So the informant then told authorities she obtained the fentanyl pills and gave them to Richins in a hand-to-hand transaction. So that's where this is. This is now a plea deal on the distribution. Gave them over February 11th or 12th. According to the document, Valentine's Day meal turned into a nightmare when Eric Richins broke out in hives and had difficulty breathing after eating a sandwich his wife made for him. Prosecutors alleged that Richins made the sandwich and placed it on the seat of his truck with a love note. But after eating it, the husband became ill and needed to use their son's EpiPen. Well, that's not good. Documents say that Eric Richins believed he had been poisoned and told a friend he thought his wife was trying to poison him.
I'm just going to say,
yeah,
if you're at the point where you suspect that your partner is trying to kill you, even if you're wrong, the relationship is over because you will never recover from, I thought they were trying to murder me.
Yeah, Vices, he didn't want to support her career as an author, but she made it work. Oh, God, we'll get there.
Oh, dude, you are the worst.
This is terrible. It's so bad.
We love
so
you, but
late.
what the hell?
It's so late. I know you're tired. Richins allegedly contacted informant and said that the fentanyl pills were not strong enough and asked that she procure some stronger fentanyl. Told authorities that Richins asked for some of the Michael Jackson stuff during the request for fentanyl, but subsequently conceded that the defendant may have made the Michael Jackson reference during her first request for fentanyl. Oh, okay. All right.
That's not really a great concession for the defense.
No. It's still that shows intention earlier. March, Richins allegedly owed more than $1 million at the time of her husband's death. Prosecutor said in the document, the day before her husband died, prosecutor said she talked to a moneylender whom she owed at least $1.8 million to, and had a lengthy telephone call with the IRS. Those are not comfortable. The document alleged that she had outstanding state and federal tax liabilities totaling $189,840 and also owed her husband at least $514,000. Those are not inconsequential amounts.
I can tell you, I don't owe that much money because nobody would ever lend me that much money.
Yeah. Eric Richins, 39. Died after he was found unresponsive in the bedroom of their home in Camas. I'm gonna butcher that. After having a drink to celebrate his wife's business deal. He had 5 times the lethal dose of fentanyl in his system.
Hey, honey, this is the deal of a lifetime. Drink up.
So then here you go. Richins told authorities that she and her husband were celebrating her closing on a house for her business. She said so this is her words. She had made her husband a Moscow mule. Well, that's unfortunate.
Those are good.
No, I'm looking. This is what I'm drinking.
You're drinking a Moscow mule?
I made this one myself.
And it's fentanyl. It's
free.
Low in fentanyl.
I think it's fentanyl free.
I mean, there's a lot of overlap between free and low, but we just got to make sure on all that.
Devoid of, like zero. Yeah. So
Zero
she made her husband
the correct amount.
Moscow mule in the kitchen and brought it to their bedroom where he drank it while sitting in bed. This is weird to me.
I just pulled up the official recipe for a Moscow mule.
Go on.
It does not call for any fentanyl, believe it or not. Yeah. So you made it right.
Okay. Well, and Jeff Legal Vices would know because he does a cocktail on every stream, like before he gets going. So maybe he can teach us how to make a proper Moscow Mule.
The best way to make a proper Moscow Mule is to make a London Mule instead.
What's a London Mule?
You swap out the vodka for gin.
Oh, that might taste good.
It's actually really good. It's way better than the Moscow Mule. I stopped getting Moscow Mules and just get the gin variant. So, yeah.
I am intrigued.
You should try it.
Here's my... She made the beverage and brought it to their bedroom, and he drank it while sitting in bed. What time of day? Like, how did this transpire? I'm not sitting in bed randomly and like drinking a Moscow Mule.
No, normally that's not the sort of usual place you would drink that.
So, oh, this is a problem. So the affidavit, however, I think this is the affidavit, said that Eric Richins had 1 shot of alcohol and a THC gummy. I guess that was from his blood sampling.
Yeah.
So this must be the affidavit
they might have also
for the arrest warrant.
They might have also looked into his stomach contents. Although, so a THC gummy wouldn't last long in your stomach, though.
No, but here's 1 shot of alcohol and 5 times a lethal dose of fentanyl. Oh, Richins told authorities she fell asleep in one of her children's rooms, and when she woke up and went to her bedroom, her husband was cold to the touch. Apparently, the affidavit said that she supposedly attempted CPR, but when the medical and fire personnel arrived, they said that it did not appear if she had done CPR due to the large amount of blood that came from Eric's mouth. That, I can see that point. That would have come out during the CPR if it was there, but I don't know. I'm not a medical expert.
Yeah.
She told authorities that she had left her phone plugged up in her bedroom. However, investigators found that it had been locked and unlocked several times and showed movement before 911 being called.
Oh, your phone will snitch on you.
It will. A couple were married for 9 years at the time of the death. Okay. They have 3 sons, which is remarkably tragic. March 6th.
Well, I mean, the good thing is that they still have 3 sons because
they're still around. Yes.
Yeah, you start wondering about what does she start thinking about the kids after that?
And the sons are with, I think, his sister. So
yeah.
Days after her husband passed, Richins allegedly had a locksmith drill into the husband's safe.
I put nothing on that.
I know. How many days? Because that's the thing. Like, I can see a completely legitimate reason why that would happen.
I would hope that my wife would be drilling into the safe right away if, because there's all sorts of,
account information.
Well, and one of the things you might keep in the safe is
a will.
A will? Yeah. Like
power of attorney.
Yeah. All of those important documents might go into a safe. So that one, I'm just like, yeah, of course.
And then Eric's sister shows up and tells Richins to leave the safe alone. Richins then punches the sister in the face and neck. Families are going to do family stuff.
Yeah, the punching is probably not the thing, but the leave the safe alone is like, go F yourself. That's the wrong answer. Right?
Yeah. Oh, so Richins then writes a backdated check for $1,300 to obtain fentanyl pills. Left the pills in a fire pit in the backyard. Oh, so trying to display it was a habit. I get the allegation. That's what the allegation is. They're trying to show that she was trying to say it was a habit. Okay. Then the sister of the deceased husband hired a private investigator to surveil and follow Richins in July. So March to July. So there's a lot of suspicion going on. Richins filed to remove the sister-in-law as trustee of the trust. Richins and her sister-in-law have been in a legal battle over the trust and estate since Richins' death. Yep. So Richins said that in the documents that the private investigator would park outside her home to watch and surveil her and would question her neighbors about her and her husband. Okay. Private investigator was hired to look into the death. The private investigator declined to speak. Yeah, that's what the PI is going to do. March 7th, a year after her husband's death, Richins publishes a book titled Are You With Me? And dedicated it to my amazing husband and wonderful father. An Amazon description of the book said it was written to, quote, create peace and comfort for children who have lost a loved one. In the 41-page book, a boy questions whether his father is with him when he is sad or mad and whether he is with him for special occasions. The father reassures the boy that he is there for all those moments. While true, it feels weird in this instance.
Yeah, it's like it's a good concept for a book, but at the same time, it's creepy AF in hindsight.
Made more creepy by this. On April 6th, in an interview with KTVX TV of Salt Lake City, she discussed the book and she said that the death happened unexpectedly. It took us all by shock. My kids and I kind of wrote this book on the different emotions and grieving processes that we were experiencing last year, hoping that it can kind of help other kids deal with this and find happiness some way or another. She went on to talk about how she would tell her children that their dad is still here, just in a different way. While true, it feels creepy reading it here.
Yeah.
Richins was arrested on May 8th on charges of aggravated murder and 3 counts of possession of controlled substance with intent to distribute. She has not entered a plea. Well, she has and is due in court June 12th. That's happened. The new date for a detention hearing.
I also kind of, the interesting aspect of the charging there, because like the distribute is by murder, is the distribution.
It's or like scattering it around the fire pit to, you got to talk to prosecutors sometimes about, do you really want to do that one too? Like, why not just go with the whole murder thing?
Sometimes they like to have something sort of in their back pocket for, if the murder doesn't work out, maybe we can get her on drug dealing.
I mean, you would hope that you would have it locked up by that.
I mean, here's the argument. It makes sense. It makes sense as something to include there. And here's the reason why, is because if you go in and you're like, hey, her defense might be, listen, I knew that he died because of the drugs. I didn't tell anybody. And I gave him the drugs because he asked me, because he, he's an addict, or he wanted them to help celebrate. I didn't know, I didn't know doses. That was how much he told me to have, or I gave him the pills and maybe he took more than he was supposed to. Like maybe he took more than was a good idea. And then, so even if she runs that defense, which I think might be her argument, they can say, well, then you're going to jail on the drug dealing.
Yeah, so her argument is going to be that this was a pre-existing addiction, that it was something that she was worried about for some time, that no, she wasn't incurring this debt, that she was incurring this debt to protect the family and his addiction, and that the money was going to fund the addiction, and she had to do it to protect his image because his image was the one that made the money. I mean, I can write the defense. It's just, I don't know how it's going to sell.
Yeah.
Especially, well, let's watch a second of the bond hearing here. Then we'll get to what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I want to do a video probably not too far off from now going over the bond hearing, because I think there's a lot to talk about with it.
So let's just watch the beginning of it. Then I'll get to the lawsuit and I'll leave the bond hearing itself for you to cover. Because that's kind of what I think is the good thing to do. So make sure closed captioning is on. Let me know if you can hear this.
Morning, Ms. Richins.
Yeah.
Can I have counsel for the state make their appearance, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Patricia Castel for the state.
Your Honor, Brad Bloodworth for the state.
Joseph Hill on behalf of the state.
Mark Goldstein.
Welcome. Thank you. On behalf of Ms. Richins, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Sky Lazaro on behalf of Ms. Richins.
Aaron Hinton on behalf of Ms. Richins.
Thank you. All right. We're here today for a detention hearing to determine whether Ms. Richins will continue to be held without bail during the pretrial period. I've read.
That's a crowded courtroom for a bail hearing.
Well, and this is the thing, that writing that book might have been the worst move of her life, because the last thing you want is to open all the funding doors. And the fact that this is such a the fact that this is now such a high profile trial has opened up all of the funding doors. So they will have unlimited money to go after her, basically. And that's bad for her.
Can I make a comment? Just and chat, don't rip me to pieces for this one. But her lady lawyer, it looks intimidating AF. Like,
I mean, she's got a scowl, but
just
I mean, there's not a whole lot you could put onto that. Sometimes there's lawyers who come off really aggressive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm just saying personally, like just looking like first glance. I haven't heard a single word out of this woman's mouth, but yeah.
And one of my favorite lawyers, like she's got an expression that is permanently in scowl mode. And so she's really intimidating. Also one of the nicest people you've ever known. And a really good person on top of it. Like really has dedicated her life to doing good stuff. So
yeah, and in the aftermath of this hearing, I have not heard anything bad about either side's counsel. I have not heard anything bad. We're gonna leave. We're gonna let this one flow into us, and we're just gonna take it as it comes. Okay.
A lot of stuff. I've reviewed the defendant's motion to consider defendant's constitutional right to bail, the state's bench brief, defendant's motion to set conditions for release, the state's response, and I read your reply filed last evening, Ms. Lazaro.
Thank you. I apologize for that.
It's fine. This is a dynamic situation. I'd like to hear from the state first. Who's leading the presentation?
I am, Your Honor.
Ms. Castel, how would you like to proceed?
Your Honor, we have 3 witnesses that we would like to call.
Okay.
We are prepared to call them now.
Who's the first witness?
The first witness is Detective O'Driscoll.
Do we have an exclusionary rule issue? I'm not sure it applies today, but I thought I'd ask.
I'm not sure it does either, given sort of the loose nature as far as the rules go on this hearing. Given the nature of the proceedings and I'm sure what's to come, extensive testimony in this case and a number of different issues, I would ask that it be imposed.
In 1101C4 would say the rules of evidence do not apply today.
That is correct.
Exclusionary rules, a rule of evidence. Okay. It's a reasonable request, but it's denied.
Thank you.
For the record, not bad.
Yes.
Okay. If you step in front of Brittany, we'll get you sworn in.
Here, let's pause for a second just to talk about what that is, because
people have questions.
Bond hearings tend, and I mean this is different in different places, but in most places, the standards for rules of evidence are very different at a bond or bail hearing than they are at your trial.
Yep.
And so typically things like here where I am at a bail hearing, they'll have the prosecutor like read in a bunch of stuff as like, hey, this is facts in this case. And you're going, wait, how does the prosecutor just get to tell the court facts? Well, we don't have the standard rules of evidence. They can do things like, hey, we want to tender hearsay. This cop heard a thing in preparing a report. And that's because you don't want the bail hearing to be a full trial. You want it to be kind of expeditious.
And there's a reason for that, because it's a different metric. You're not adjudicating their guilt.
Yeah.
It's the same as the sentencing. Like when people complain that sentencing, all this information comes in that we didn't hear at trial. The judge gets to cite the things that they heard leading up to it, the motions practiced, the facts that didn't make it in the record, because the judge gets the overarching view of the case and they're there to administer justice. Now, the jury is there to find guilt or innocence, but the judge is there to administer justice and maintain the decorum of the judicial process. And part of that is determining whether the person who is being charged is a risk to the community or a flight risk, or if there's some significant risk. And because of that, you trust the judge to use their experience and their know-how to parse through the BS.
Yeah.
And reach the right conclusion.
Yeah, it's a much simplified process, but so what she's asking for in terms of an exclusionary rule is we want to keep out witnesses from hearing any of this stuff. And the judge is like, that's a reasonable request. I can't give it to you because the law doesn't allow it, but he's being very careful because he knows that this is all televised. He's being very careful with, like, I'm not dunking on the lawyers here for making what is a reasonable request. So,
Camus, thank you.
Camus.
Camus.
Yeah. So, I actually, I like.
I think
the judge.
I think there's a problem with that rule. Like, I get the hearsay rules. I get the hearsay. I get the leading. I get the proffered evidence. I don't like not having the exclusionary rule because these witnesses are going to testify again at trial or give depositions. Keep them out of the courtroom.
It depends on which witnesses they're calling. Because so far they're calling a cop. And I can tell you that cop has already had access to all of the stuff we want to keep the cop from knowing, right? So I'm like, I guess, but the cop's already heard it.
Yeah. And Sarah, this is a good question. Can judges disagree during sentencing? It depends on the state, the jurisdiction, and the charge. Some states and some jurisdictions, depending on the charge, the jury will sentence. Some, the judge will sentence. If the judge disagrees with the sentence of a jury, the judge can downwardly or upwardly modify. They can't go upward. They can downwardly modify.
Now in
just
Canada,
depends.
it's always the judge who sentences.
Yeah. And Elizabeth, she's doing fine. She said, like Ian said, she looked sharp, but there was a lot more timid when she was speaking. Azam, thank you for the super sticker. Very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Linda, thank you again for that super sticker. K-Rab, you had about 200K in the safe. I think we're gonna hear from that, like with the inspector or the investigator. Jesse, Essex Eric's company had big trouble with the Department of Labor. I didn't know that. That's interesting. K-Rab, it's not about reading into it. He had said that he thought she was trying to poison him before, and that is why he changed the will. I think we saw the timeline. I think you're probably right. Daffy9, thank you. Can you tell me a little about L&D? I'm going to save this one for later when we can get on that topic. Azam, thank you for the super sticker. Okay. For the kids, Ian, what happened to country lawyer? Rob, how many times have you been puked on by kids?
So country lawyer, I sent the thing off. I don't expect that I'm going to hear back as to anything. So
Gotcha.
I don't think we're going to get any news on it. We're not going to get because in order to get the guy's reaction, I would have had to fly down there to deliver it in person. Or he would have to come on the show to be like, hey,
this was the neti pot.
The neti pot. Maybe I should send the guy an invite to be on the show.
That'd be great.
And just be like, hey, did you get the neti pot? But I suspect that he would watch my coverage and be like, I'm not coming on your show. You're a jerk face.
Yep.
You were making fun of my snorting and my submissions.
Crazy Cat Queen, thank you. Yes, CPR causes blood to spew out of, if any, bleeding in the esophagus and stomach. Did CPR on a patient with AIDS. Blood everywhere because of multi-organ failure. Ouch. Nurse had a gown face shield with me between compressions. Oh my God. That sounds really
unpleasant.
And you know what? I hope that resulted in a positive outcome for the patient, but that's
dude, you did not have to say positive when we're talking about
A good disposition, Ian. Come on.
That was
I know. Poor choice of words. Oh,
Yeah.
sometimes foot in mouth. It's there, man. Oh.
Yeah.
LK Ryden, thank you very much for doing research about history and psychiatry, discrimination of people with mental health issues for advocacy stuff. Thank you for a company that keeps fairly sane through the cesspool of misery. You are welcome for the company. Thank you for keeping us company as well. All right, let's keep on going with this bond hearing. We're not going to go too much into it because I have more stuff we need to cover, but we're going to see some of what the detective says. 1.25 too, I think.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in the matter before the court to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, subject to the pains and penalties of the truth?
Good morning, Detective O'Driscoll. Can you please introduce yourself to the court and explain your relation to this case?
My name is Detective O'Driscoll. I've been at the Summit County Sheriff's Office for 7 years. I'm assigned to the Investigations Division. I was assigned to be the lead detective in this case in April of this year. This case is an active case and the investigation's ongoing.
Detective, what was the Sheriff's Office first involvement in this case?
On March 4th, 2022 at 3:22 hours, Summit County Dispatch received a 911 call regarding an unresponsive male in the Francis area.
Have you listened to that 911 call?
Yes,
Who placed that call?
the defendant, Kouri Richins.
In addition to saying that someone was unresponsive, did Ms. Richins, the defendant, identify who was unresponsive and anything else about that person's condition?
Yes, she stated that it was her husband, Eric Richins, that was unresponsive, that he was cold to the touch and not breathing.
Did EMS and police respond to that address?
Yes,
Is that the family home?
yes,
Was a portion of the police and EMS response captured on police body camera video?
yes, it was.
Have you reviewed that video?
Yes, I have.
On that video, what time does EMS pronounce Eric Richins dead?
03:58 hours on March 4th.
What, if anything
Ooh,
else,
that's a
does
I don't
EMS
like
say
that
Weird.
facial
about
expression.
how long he had been dead?
Can we go back
One
to
of
that
the EMS
facial expression?
personnel made the
I
comment that he had
don't know if I want to.
I would like to see that
Been dead a
facial
while.
How
expression
long
again.
he had,
on March 4th.
does EMS pronounce Eric Richins dead?
03:58 hours on March 4th.
What, if anything else, does EMS say about how long he had been dead?
One of the EMS
It's not a smile, Ian. It's a forced. It's intentional. Like she's forcing the. Never mind. She's forcing the response. She's biting her lip to force the response to look somber. I don't know if it was trying to restrain a smile. It seems weird.
That looks like a smile to me. And if I was cross-examining her, like if she gets up on the stand,
She's not going to take the stand. I don't mean to say that. Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Syracuse Brad, I am thinking the same thing. Why are we so close in on the camera? The camera operator is going to do some things. So we might be moving pretty quick to some of the substantive stuff, the detective, when we get him on the stand.
personnel made the comment that he had been dead a while.
Did the state medical examiner's office conduct an autopsy of Mr. Richins?
Yes, they did.
Have you reviewed the medical examiner's autopsy report
Yes,
and the toxicology report that's part of that?
yes.
What did the medical examiner identify as the cause of death?
Drug intoxication with the specific drug being fentanyl.
I'm going to now ask you, Detective, some questions about someone with the initial CL. Do you know who I'm talking about when I say CL?
Yes, I do.
Who is CL in relation to the defendant?
CL is an associate of the defendant. She cleaned houses for the defendant's business as well as her personal home at times.
No. She's I don't think it's that. I think she's super nervous. She knows the camera's directly on her. She's breathing super heavy. Like she's breathing super heavy. I think she's really nervous. She knows the camera's pointed right at her.
it's hard.
It's hard. But look at how, like, if you see her chest is like visibly. So I think this is not, we're not going to read into it. Not in a bond hearing, guys. No.
It's just,
Does
it's
CL
so
have-
hard in a situation like this because
It's a bond hearing. This is her first
Yeah.
appearance in front of a courtroom, and there are this many freaking people in there. And I'm not going to do it alone on the first glance at this video. So
Have a criminal drug history.
Yes.
Is she under supervision in a different county, a county other than Summit County?
Yes, she is.
And is that in relation to certain drug charges?
Yes.
Does the court program in which she's in monitor treatment and testing, et cetera?
Yes.
Do you know how CL is performing in that program?
Based on my interactions with CL, she is progressing through the stages of that program, and that her personal outlook on her recovery is optimistic.
Have you interviewed CL in connection with this case?
Yes.
this is going to piss me off really quick if the cameraman
Approximately
doesn't
how
do it.
much time have you spent interviewing her?
Over the course of multiple interviews, several hours each, I would say upwards of 10 hours.
Can we see
Was
the witness at
CL
all,
in,
cameraman?
No, that's what I'm
custody when
saying.
you interviewed her?
Yes, she was.
Was that interview captured on video and audio recording?
Yes.
What, if any, promises did you make regarding, or to CL regarding her
What, if any?
cooperation with being interviewed?
CL was not making
Elaine.
specific promises, but at the outset of our interviews, we explained to her that her cooperation in our investigation would result in us working with the prosecutors that were responsible for the charges she was facing.
Did you express to CL the seriousness of this case as well as the charges she was facing?
Is the
Yes, we
cameraman going
expressed
to
to her
leave it on her
the
face the
seriousness
whole
of the
damn
charges and
time?
the possible
course.
results of those charges. As well, we impressed upon her the importance or the
I'm
value
zooming
of her
forward. I
testimony
can't
in
do
this
like the.
operated that.
And what kind of messages were they?
They were messages between Acquaintance One and CL on Facebook Messenger app. And
have you reviewed those messages?
Yes,
Is the first of those messages dated February 6, 2022 at 1:37 p.m.?
yes,
Does it read, text me, I've got a question, won't do it on this?
yes,
And that's CL writing Acquaintance One, asking
Ruh-roh.
Acquaintance One to text CL because she didn't want to write over Facebook Messenger?
Ruh-roh.
Did Acquaintance One say whether or not she ever, in response, contacted CL?
All right. I'm going to take this opportunity to pull this comment up, and I think you're 100% right. Like 1,000% right.
Yeah.
She's not testifying. She's not asking the questions. She's not making the ruling. She's not really giving the information. She is just sitting there reacting. What the hell is Law and Crime or Court TV? What are they doing focused on her face, super zoomed in?
I would like to see a little bit more on that in terms of like, hey, maybe we shouldn't, maybe we shouldn't do that. But I don't know.
Did they get
It's-
yelled at later? I hope he gets in trouble. He damn well should get in trouble, or she. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
Thank you, because this is the thing. You've made this comment. This is why we can't have nice things. We've all made this comment. Like the Kohberger trial, the judge focuses intently in his analysis of whether or not to allow the media in, is so much on like the people that are reacting to the person's expression while they're sitting there for a 5-minute or a 20-minute hearing.
Well,
Stop
and
doing that.
the thing is that this is going to be a bit of a problem later when they're looking for jurors.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, have you watched any of Law and Crime's coverage of like the in-depth every facial expression this person has ever made in their, in their life? Like,
and that's why I said they're not saying anything.
yeah.
How do you know what her normal behavior is?
Well, there is no normal behavior when you're under this kind of stress.
No.
So.
All right, I want to fast because if the judge calls them out, if this is a call out, I want to get to here.
Yeah.
Eric had some heated conversations actually the night before he passed, or the night that he passed away, with that outfitter, correct?
we received information about that. Yeah.
In fact, he was searching how far it was to drive from Scottsdale down there, correct?
Correct. Well, his phone showed that search.
And JS also told you that he had information or believed that this outfitter was somehow connected to the cartel, correct?
I don't recall. That sounds familiar, but I don't recall if those were the words that he used.
But essentially,
JS made a statement about the cartel when he was talking about Eric and that hunt, yes.
Counsel, would you approach for a minute? Will you turn the white noise on? My apologies, 1 second.
The white noise machines that you guys have are amazing.
Awesome, right?
We don't have that here, and
Sorry, hang on. Oh my God, sorry. Eardrums, I'm so sorry.
okay, just after I finish talking up the white noise machines, they blow out my earballs with them.
They're really good.
But yeah, we have to cart the jury out every time there's a discussion between counsel. It's like everybody has to leave. We're getting speech there. I think we got to. I think we got to go back a little bit.
Hang on. I'm going back. Give me 1 second. So the second we'll pick it up right where it starts picking up the. That's music. That means that white noise machine.
Let's just confirm it.
Are they trying to pick up her conversations?
That
with
was what
counsel?
I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. What the hell is he doing?
Yeah, that cameraman should be fired into the sun.
What is going on? Get off of counsel table. All right, this makes me uncomfortable. This
We're
makes me
getting some
uncomfortable.
audio there. Like I could go back and clean that up and hear exactly what they were saying.
I don't want to. That feels remarkably invasive.
I mean, I won't, because I think that as a lawyer, even though it's not my file, I've got a duty not to do that sort of thing. But I can guarantee you somebody on TikTok is going to clean that up and play it. And this just endangers the ability of everyone to cover this trial, because then it's like, well,
this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. If that's what, please tell me that's the judge. No.
All right, thanks, folks. If you want to take a moment. All right, thanks, folks. If you want to take a moment and use the restroom, Ms. Richins, if you'd like to use the restroom, stretch your legs. This is an opportune time.
Thank you.
I'm trying to figure this out. Thank you.
And he got the fucking cuffs. I'm sorry.
We are only 1 hour and 30 minutes in, sir. You can't use language like that for another 30 minutes.
I did not see this happening. This cameraman
straight into the sun.
He gets the cuffs. I imagine he got because I didn't look at the ankle. There's probably ankle restraints underneath. Because that's a full tether she has on, right? It's the full tether up front.
I suspect, yeah. Yeah, how are we feeling about this one? I'm feeling not happy.
They do. But the public is not supposed to perceive that. They are accused. They stand accused. They do not stand convicted. They stand accused. It's like Koberger. When Koberger's in trial, he is in ankle restraints and a hip restraint and cuffs. Do you see the cuffs? No.
I mean, in
Yes,
Canada, she
she's
probably
cuffed
wouldn't be cuffed
because
but
she's in custody.
she probably wouldn't have been cuffed in Canada for this. I think that they would have said that the sheriffs would have been enough.
Problem is that this is now a display to the public, which means how many screen grabs do they have of her in cuffs?
All of them.
Yeah. It's not about the jury, and yes, I see you. But it's not about the jury entirely right now. Right now, it's the public, because right now the jury pool is the public, and there are going to be screen grabs. Here's the thing: there's one thing for you to see a picture of someone on a head or on a newspaper, and it's a picture of their face, and you didn't read the article, so you have no idea what you're there. So you're still you're a prospective juror. You haven't been persuaded by anything. But let's say instead of the front page with the big headshot there. With an article you didn't read. Let's say instead of that, there's a person in cuffs. Does that change your perception even the slightest? Because science says it does.
Yeah, it's going to. You're going to think this looks like a guilty person. And not just a guilty person, but a dangerous guilty person. They're afraid of her. Like, she's got to be in cuffs because she's scary.
And now here's the problem, because when you're asking jurors screening questions, you're asking them whether they saw anything, and they say, "Well, I saw a picture, or I saw a photo on the front of the newspaper, or a photo on the news, but I didn't read the article or listen to it. I was just walking by."
Yeah,
and you can't really tell what photo that might have been, but it could have been this one with the cuffs. I don't like any of this, but we're going to come back from the break. Is the judge going to issue any statements?
I got to go soon, but I want to see if there's a chew out.
I want to see it too, because I also want to, I'm going to get to the complaint that she filed in a second, but nope. We're going to fast forward past the clangy and the clingy. Sweet.
I can hear her asking for water there. Hey, do you want some water? So some people are saying there's no chew out. Some people are saying it's near the end.
You're zooming in on the. We're done with this bail hearing right now. I will watch this in private. I'm sufficiently uncomfortable with what this cameraman is catching that I don't want to put that on my screen.
Yeah. The good news is I made a big step of progress on my board game design or board game prototype setup, basically. So I'm basically, the goal of making a board game prototype is that you want to start finding out what's wrong with it as fast as you can. And so I'm basically looking to get all this printed up into something that I can hand out to people and be like, let's start playing this and see how awful it is, because it's going to be it's going to be awful for a while, and maybe one day it'll stop being awful. But yeah.
M. Duick, he briefly chewed them out before dismissing the gallery. We scrubbed past it. Thank you for telling. Here's the thing. Thank you for telling me that, because that makes me feel better. But I'm not gonna. I don't want to
go back looking for it because we don't know.
No, there was too much being said between her and her attorney that was making me very uncomfortable. The longer that cameraman was zoomed in, the more uncomfortable I was. Just as an attorney, respecting the privacy that's there on counsel table. Like, that is uncalled for.
Yeah, you don't mess with solicitor-client communications.
Megan, thank you. If I remember correctly, the feed's not from either of the normal networks. I think the only one who had permission to film was a local network, and that's the risk. That's the risk. Kimberly Fisher, I think EDB thought it was a local cameraman. It gets even worse. Well, I'm going to watch that in private.
Yeah, I'll probably cover it, but I suspect I'll be throwing mute on for
we might have
certain
to,
segments.
if you cover, now that you've seen that, now you can go back and trim it, or
Yeah, well, or just throw mute on so that it's not because I can sort of hear some of that commentary, and I could almost make out the words.
yeah,
Um,
me uncomfortable.
yeah.
K-Rab, the chewing out is because more than one media entity is streaming it without permission. Interesting. Maureen Griffin, the forensic accountant testimony on her crushing debts was fascinating. That's an interesting segue because I did find those pleadings, Ian. Do you want to see them real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
And can you send me a copy? Would that be
Yep.
okay?
downloaded it. I'm going to send it to you. I'll send it to you in 2 seconds when I pull it up.
Awesome.
Yes, she had staggering debts, like $600 a week that was being paid back to some of these different entities. Millions
Damn.
of dollars that were owed, like tons and tons and tons of money.
I
got-
just can't go through money that way. Like I just don't know how.
Don't know many who can.
So I mean, I guess I could buy a lot of guns.
Yeah. And then Anna
So-
Nicole Blair, I know you want to watch it. The thing is, I have 2 more topics to get through, and this one is what I wanted to cover today because honestly, the bail hearing, that's a hearing. We've seen that. We know the disposition. She doesn't get bail. She wasn't going to get bail. So she's not getting bail.
In Canada, she'd get bail.
Well, okay.
That's the thing is I don't think that she's unmanageable in the community, if that makes sense.
Well, she might be trying to. Here's the thing, though. What's fascinating to me about this was I said that this week was about audacity. And what was audacious was this. So, this was filed this week on behalf of Kouri Richins against Katie Richins Benson in her individual capacity as representative of the estate of Eric Richins. She has sued the late husband's estate. So the plaintiff, Kouri Richins, by and through her counsel of record, Ray Quinney and Nebuchadnezzar PEC, hereby complains of and for her cause of action against the estate, says as follows. So plaintiff Kouri Richins is an individual residing in Summit County, Utah, and the widow of Eric Richins. Footnote, what's the footnote? Because Kouri, Eric, and Katie all share the same last name, this complaint refers to each of them by their first name, so to avoid confusion.
Makes sense.
Thank you, complaint. Defendant Katie is a personal representative of the estate of Eric, the estate. A copy of Eric's will is attached here too as Exhibit A. This court has jurisdiction, venue is proper, yada, yada. The family home, on or about November 21 of 2012, while engaged to be married, Eric and Kouri purchased certain real property and related improvements. So they purchased the marital home for the price of $400,000. Okay, they bought it. There it is. They acquired the home from Katie. That's weird. So they bought it from the sister and her husband, Clinton. Okay, interesting. So sister and brother sold it to, okay. Katie is the defendant, personal representative. All right. Eric and Kouri each contributed their own separate funds to the down payment of the family home. So this sounds like it's a motion or an act for accounting. Before occupying the family home and in accordance with an agreement between Kouri and Eric, Kouri put the gas, telephone, and internet and electrical utility bills in her name. Eric was not listed on any of the utilities. So this is my proportionate share is what she's arguing. At all times, Kouri has paid the utilities, or they've been in her name, rather. While the utilities were under Kouri's name, Kouri acknowledges and agrees that the family home was a joint asset and she and Eric acquired together and held together. All right, so we own it together. After jointly purchasing the family home and moving in together, Eric and Kouri each contributed to the monthly mortgage payments. So they both contributed. So this is an action for accounting. It's basically saying, I put money in, you put money in, I am owed part of the equity in this home.
And I need to use it to fund
My
something. Something
My
is suddenly
defense.
costing a whole lot of money.
Yep. So approximately 6 months after moving in, they were married in the backyard. That's now a tragic turn. Kouri and Eric jointly reside in the family home, including raising their 3 children there at all times from the day they acquired it until March 4th of 2022 when Eric passed away. Why is there not a footnote here? By the way, my client's being charged with the murder of Eric because
Oh, because you wouldn't put that into a filing because that doesn't go well for you.
You know where that comes in? The answer.
Yeah. That you let the other side say that. I mean,
yeah.
I would probably try to get ahead of it and just say, hey, while there is, I mean, yeah, you know the other side's going to bring it in. So
profess your innocence. Say that there's call it wrongful. Call whatever you want to call it, but say something.
Yeah. Is innocent and needs the money to fund the defense to prove same.
To prove her innocence. Yeah, say it that way. Oh no. Okay, so prior to Eric's passing, Eric and Kouri engaged a contractor to build a swimming pool. Okay. The work was completed after Eric's death, and Kouri paid the entirety of these improvements from her separate funds. Why does that make me feel a certain way? Like, you're paying for a swimming pool after I would want out of that house. The family home is marital property. Approximate value of at least $1.9 million. So, good investment, I guess. Kouri is entitled to half of the equity in the family home. Alternatively, if she's not entitled to half of all of the equity, she's at least entitled to 1/2 of the increase in equity value that occurred after her marriage to Eric. The prenup. Eric's marriage to Kouri was his second marriage. Eric's first marriage ended in divorce. Prior to marrying Kouri, Eric had acquired certain assets, including 50% ownership in the business. Oh, she's going after the business too. Immediately prior to the wedding, Eric's mother delivered to Kouri a prenup and requested that Kouri sign it. A true and correct copy of the prenup is attached here to his Exhibit B and incorporated herein by reference. So there's a prenup.
Kouri and I gotta go, but yeah,
you got it, bud.
It's I'm sad because this is making me angry.
Don't worry about it. I'll keep reading it. There are lots going on here.
Well, and if you're available, you're of course invited to pop in on Monday because I'm going to go through some of this as well because so angry.
Oh yeah, we will be. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, I will see you in a bit.
All right.
Cheers.
See you, buddy. Bye. Okay, let's get back to it. So Kouri complied, and both she and Eric signed the prenup on their wedding day. Bad idea. Never sign a prenup on your wedding day. Just because it gives lawyers the ability to try and say it was coerced, etc. With the prenup being notarized simultaneously and their wedding certificate by the very same individual. Interesting. Section 1, paragraph 5 of the prenup provides future income. The parties acknowledge to each other that each does not now have, possess, or claim any right or interest in the present or future income of the business. Okay. It's owned between the husband and third party. Wife has no right to the business. Okay. Then it articulates what the husband's separate property is. The parties foresee, following the date of their marriage, commingled marital funds may from time to time be spent or invested in the business. They agree that it shall nevertheless remain the sole property of the husband. All right, well, at least we're acknowledging that. Section 5, paragraph 3 of the prenup further provides the agreement shall be binding upon the parties and upon their heirs, executors, administrators, successors, and assigns. So the estate. Okay. So we list all the separate assets. All right. Then we've got the business and includes Eric's 50%. Okay. Notwithstanding the list of assets showing Eric's separate property, the prenup expressly provides that should Eric pass away prior to Kouri, while they are lawfully married, Eric's ownership interest in the business shall transfer to Kouri effective upon his death. This is where what's called the Slayer statute comes in. I'll get to that in a second. The list of assets does not include the family home, nor does the prenup make mention of any real property owned by Eric. She's trying to argue it's marital. List of assets also limits personal property to specific items listed by Eric. So all the other stuff is now what she's saying hers. The prenup's exclusion of the family home is further evidence that notwithstanding how legal title was held, the family home was and is a joint marital asset. Y'all talk to your estate planning attorneys. Talk to your estate planning attorneys. On or about February 16th, Eric purported to assign the business interest to Eric Richins' living trust. To the extent that such transfer was even effective, it did not extinguish Kouri's rights in the business interest as granted in the prenup. Reminder, just a brief reminder going back to our lovely little timeline. Dun, dun, dun. Where was the timeline? Man, this is uncomfortable. This is very uncomfortable. If we're going to the timeline, Kouri Richins timeline, where they're saying around February 16th of 2021, that's when the purported transfer occurred. Okay, so that's a purported transfer. Sure, why not? Why is there an ad blocker on this stupid thing that I'm trying to look up? No, I don't want to do this. Don't make me do this. I want to see the page without the ads because I'm not sharing it on stream. I want to read it for myself, please. There we go. February 16th of 2021. So around that time in October, that's when he consulted the divorce attorney and estate planning lawyer, changed his will, formed a living trust, placed the estate under control of the sister, transferred the partnership interest. So this is after he is said to have discovered the tax misappropriation of $134,000 and a ton of money that she had taken out of the home equity line of credit and withdrawn $100,000 from his bank accounts and $30,000 of credit cards. So this is sometime after that. All right. So he transfers it to the trust. To the extent that the transfer was even effective, we read that part. Rather, any such assignment carried with it Kouri's vested and pre-existing rights to the business interest as set forth in the prenup. Are y'all starting to feel weird by this? Just saying. The business interest has since been sold to Eric's work partner. The approximately $2 million in proceeds from that sale are currently on deposit with the court. I'm feeling uncomfortable. The trust. On or about November 3rd, Eric created and executed the trust, which was to remain irrevocable until his death. It was to provide for both my wife and our children during any time that I am incapacitated and after my death. All provisions of the trust are to be interpreted to accomplish my objectives. She's trying to invade the trust. Okay. On or about November 3rd, Eric purported to convey the family home to the trust via deed. He purported to convey the family home without her authorization or knowledge. All property he assigned to the trust. He didn't specify the property. Okay. Oh, God. Oh, no. All right. So joint property. Despite the purported assignment of the personal property of the trust, Eric purchased the personal property using funds from his and Kouri's joint accounts. Oh. What did you contribute to those accounts? Oh, no. Oh, no. He purported to sign the personal property without Kouri's knowledge or consent. Oh. Article 7 of the trust provide my trustee shall allocate any interest my wife has in joint property, if any, that is or becomes trust property at my death to my wife. My wife has the absolute unrestricted right to withdraw all of the net income and trust principal consisting of her joint property. Jointly owned property shall be deemed to be owned 1/2 by each of us and does not include my separate property. Article 2 expressly identifies the prenup, so they know it's in existence at the time of the trust, which is she's going to try to use their argument. Upon his death, so Eric was appointed the trustee during lifetime. So Eric is in control of the trust during his lifetime. Upon his death, Katie becomes the trustee immediately. The document says Katie is trustee. Katie is the sister. Kouri and the 3 minor children are the sole beneficiaries of the trust. Concurrent with the trust, Eric also executed a will. Okay. So, similar to the trust, Article 1 of the will refers to prenup and says this will complies with the prenuptial agreement my wife and I signed on June 5th, 2013. In other words, just like the trust, the will acknowledges the prenup remains in full force and effect. That might be before you were possibly charged with his unfortunate demise. I'm just saying. Eric passed away on March 4th. This feels gross. At the time of his death, Eric and Kouri were lawfully married and had 3 minor children. Katie filed a petition for probate in March 11th of 2022. March 28th, Kouri filed suit against the trust, asserting an ownership interest in the family home. Oh, that wasn't too long. So Katie files her probate on March 11th, March 28th. Just 17 days later, Kouri files suit against the trust, saying, I need this. The court entered an order of formal probate of the will and formal appointment of personal representative on April 13th. Pursuant to the court order, Katie was formally appointed as a personal representative. Katie filed a claim against the estate, or Kouri filed a claim against the estate on February 28th, 2023. So she filed a claim against the estate February 28th of 2023, going back to our lovely timeline, 2023. So March 3, 2022. That's 2022. March 7th, she publishes the book. So February 28th, she files a claim against the estate. 7 days later, publishes the book. April 6th, does the interviews. May 8th, arrested. Katie denied the claim. I wonder why. On April 12th, Katie's taking the position that Kouri no longer has a right or interest in the family home, the personal property, the business interest. All right. So Kouri is saying, Judge, please tell me that I have an interest in this property. I get either legal title or equitable title to the property. Give me a declaratory judgment that says that I own a half interest in the property. Quiet title, family home. Transfer title of the home to me. That's what this is. Quiet title means the title transfers to me. Oh, God. Kouri clearly holds an equitable interest in the family home because she and Eric purchased the home together. She and Eric both contributed the down payment. She and Eric both contributed the first mortgage payments through their joint bank account. She and Eric mutually reside in the home. Give me all the personal property. Quiet title. Give me the title of the personal property. Give me the proceeds from everything. Give me the business. What? Kouri incorporates the allegation of the foregoing paragraphs. Kouri has valid interest in the proceeds adverse to the estate's purported interest in the same proceeds. This is the $2 million from the sale of the business. Is superior to the state's purported interest in the proceeds. Holy crap. Kouri is the legal and equitable owner and the sole proper recipient of the proceeds and is entitled to an order requiring title to the name of Kouri and declaring that the estate has no interest, right, or title to the proceeds. Wow. Okay. This is one way to do it. So, wherefore, this is what she is asking against the estate. As to her first and third claims, in order declaring that she and Eric owned the family home and the personal property as tenants in common, and or that the family home and personal property constitute marital property subject to equitable division, with 50% belonging to the estate and 50% belonging to Kouri, or in the alternative that they, at the very least, in order declaring Kouri a 50% ownership in overall increase in the value of the home. As the second and fourth claims give me title to the family home and the property, as the fifth and sixth claims declare that I became the sole legal and equitable owner of the proper recipient of the proceeds from the sale of the business, give me title to those proceeds, give me money judgment in the amount of not less than $300,000. As the eighth claim, constructive trust, which means hold this property for my benefit and protect it for me. As the ninth claim, resulting trust in the family home, hold that for my benefit and protect it for me. As our 10th claim, partition the family home, 50-50 of that. Give me reasonable fees and costs and other and further relief. That was on June 9th of 2023. I will just say that is one. That's a massive set of stones. Rob, help. Look, shiny things. Now that we've got your attention, you've lost this. Please interpret the prenup ease to chat ease language, please. But also funny and cute that you are in the zone. I was in the zone. Let me interpret this. Okay. So give me 1 second. I'm going to do something. Just we need a breath of positivity. So I've played this individual before. This is my friend, and I will return in about 3 minutes because that's how long it's going to take me to make a cocktail. But until then, I'm going to entertain you with Brandon the Wandering Bard. He's a friend of mine who is a musician, and go check out his YouTube channel because he's remarkably talented, and I need a second because I need to process what I just freaking read, and I'm going to break it down for you as soon as I come back. There you go. I do hope you guys like that. So, he's a good friend of mine, Brandon the Wandering Bard. He's got 248 subscribers. What do you think? There's 2,000 of you guys here. Speaking of which, if you wouldn't mind liking the stream, please do it. If you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. I think we can get him a little bit higher in those numbers. Let's see. Here's his YouTube channel. So I just posted that in the chat, and I will perhaps pin that just so that people can check it out if they want to. Like I said, small creator, buddy of mine, he does well. Okay, so let's go back to drama and let me explain it to you. All right, so let's translate some stuff. Here's the thing. Every jurisdiction is different, but an action for partition. Let me pull this down. If I buy a house with somebody, then if we don't say anything about how we own the house, there's a presumption that we own essentially what we put into it. So if I put 100,000 in, someone puts 100,000 in, we both own half. If I put 200K in, they put 100K in, I own 2/3, they own 1/3. Let's say there's a mortgage on the house. Well, mortgage is divided between principal and interest. So when you're paying the interest, that's like paying rent. That's not really increasing the value of the home. But when you pay down the principal, you're increasing the value of the home. If we both do that in equal amounts, then we're both investing in the value of the home. So what happens is, and when there's disputes not involving a marriage, people will file a lawsuit to have a court do an accounting. They ask the court, please account the investments that we've made in the property and allow us to sell the property because we don't want to own it together anymore. The court doesn't obligate people to own property together. It's not how that works. So when two people can't agree on how to own the property, the court says, sell it. And then it's a matter of dividing the proceeds. Now apply that to a marriage. Similar in concept. People come into a marriage with different investments, and they have a manner of articulating prior to their marriage how those investments should be spent. A prenuptial agreement has the ability to basically say, look, I owned all of this stuff before I was married to you, and I will continue to own all of that stuff as my stuff even after we're married. Now, let's say that I mistakenly take one of my things and I put it into an account that's in both of our names. The prenup is something where you acknowledge that, yes, I know that that might happen, but I still respect that that is your thing. So you might title that to us at some point in time in the future, but it's still your thing. I acknowledge that. That's how we're entering into this marriage. So they do that with income, they do it with assets, they do it with things like that. So it's a way of basically laying the groundwork for how the marriage is going to work. So that said, they had a prenup that said that husband's business was his property. That was his property. And she acknowledged that was his property, and he might continue to earn on that property. We're both going to contribute to it. But during our marriage, man, I am not going to make a claim against that. That is your property. That's what the prenup said. But the prenup also said that, look, if I die, then half of this property, my interest in the property, that goes to you. That's what the prenup said. The prenup has the ability to do that. So it said, wife, dear wife, I do very much love you. Therefore, if I die owning this business still upon my death, I wish that that goes to you. And I'm going to take out a life insurance policy to help you pay off the any obligations that business might have. It's a very common thing to do. It's not uncommon. So now let's go back into what we were talking about here with the prenup, the home purchase, etc. She is saying that we both bought it. So I own a part of it before we get married. So I own a part of it. That's my separate property. Court, you can't touch it. That's my property. He acknowledged it was part of my property. The prenup makes no mention of it. It's my property. I get some of that money out. Okay. Then it says, oh, also, we got married. So by nature of getting married, we commingled that and we made that a marital asset, which means I'm entitled to some marital portion of that. So I get half of that because of the marriage. Okay. Varies by state. Follow me. And then there's the added bonus of, well, the prenup doesn't say anything about it, but the trust. So he transfers the property into the trust. Now, what she's arguing out of both sides of her mouth. And let me pull up the part of this that we can talk about. This is the argument that's arguing out of both sides of your mouth. The prenup, where's the purported transfer part? Because that's where I think I lost some of you guys. Okay, so here we go. That's what I was saying. The prenup's exclusion of the family home. So the fact that the prenup said nothing about the family home means that we don't care about how legal title is. It's going to be a joint marital asset because the prenup didn't say anything about it. The prenup didn't say it's mine, it's yours. It said nothing. Stop doing the thingies. Okay. Now, on or about February 16th, Eric purported to assign the business interest to the living trust. Ooh, I can highlight. Okay. So he purported to assign it. So he said, look, I'm going to give this to the property. But there was a restriction that existed before that. The restriction said that the property or the business was his, and upon his death would go to her. So what she is saying is that he was precluded. He had agreed that he would not be able to transfer it away from himself. The prenup prevented him from transferring it out of his own hands. That's what she's saying. That we're going to unwind this transaction. That this transaction should be given no respect. That we should unwind it because he didn't have the right to do it because he already agreed in the prenup, you're not transferring it. Now, this makes sense in some marriages. When a marriage starts to go south, you'll see husbands or wives run for the bank and they'll clear it out. They'll just clear it out. Well, the prenup's intended to prevent that. It's supposed to say, look, be on your best behavior. We acknowledge this is marital. We're going to divide it. So it's supposed to prevent people from doing the grab and remove from the estate. So there's an argument that the prenup was intended to prevent him from doing this exact same thing. It was intended to protect her rights. The restriction, yes, said only if he died. You're right, Chikami. But that itself is still a promise. It essentially says it contemplates that he owns it up until his death. So it's a premature transfer. That's what she's arguing. I don't know that it holds much water, but yeah. Business as long as you're alive, but it contemplates the eventuality of death, which means that the intention within the agreement is that it passes to her. That's what she's arguing. I don't think it's a great argument, but she's arguing everything. This is a kitchen sink pleading. She's arguing literally everything. Now, the trust argument. So this is the next level of the argument she makes, that there's a trust. The trust says that the objective of the trust is to provide for my wife and our children. So it says, wife, kids, you guys get the money if I die. That's what it says. Trust says you manage it for their benefit. It's theirs. So she's now saying that the trust is withholding funds from her that she's entitled to because she is the named beneficiary in the trust. And then Nikki Crayons. I want to pull this up. Yep, you're right. It said if I own it at the time of my death. That's why I said it's not the best argument. It's not the best argument, but this is a kitchen sink. She's throwing everything she can at the wall. Pasta, throw it against the wall, see if it sticks. That's what this is. So she's saying the trust is supposed to look out for her. This trust is supposed to look out for me and the kids, but mostly me, because you know what she doesn't mention? Anything about a trust for the kids. She doesn't mention anything about the trust for the kids. Nothing about the kids. Everything's about her. Give me the money. Tell me I'm entitled to it. Tell me this. You know what you could have written in this? You could have said, give me the share I would have received. If we had died under controversy, or like give the kids half of it. Like, it could have said all kinds of stuff. So the trust is intended to accomplish her objectives, or accomplish Eric's objectives, which is take care of the wife and kids. All right. And then he purported to assign, God, man, could you be less obvious? Purported to assign. He meant to do it, but he didn't actually do it. To the trust all of his personal property, but he didn't own it. That's the same argument. It's the prenup said you can't get rid of it. It's my property, etc. Also, he purported to assign, which means we owned it together. He can't give away my half of something. I mean, imagine that you buy a house with your spouse and you both own it. And that spouse goes and takes that house and says, I'm going to gift this to my child from a previous marriage, and leaves you and your children out of it. Well, that's not how that's intended to be. So we place restrictions on that stuff. Now, all of this that I'm walking through right now, I made a comment about a Slayer statute. Well, Rob, what is a Slayer statute? Slayer statute. Let's see if we can find the one for Utah. Utah Slayer statute. Utah Slayer statute. And it's called Slayer statute. It's just Oh, is Utah unique? If Utah is unique, this is going to be really interesting. Okay. 2014, yada yada. Old article about a lawsuit in Utah. Proper steps, Never Again Foundation. FC Group, Utah's, okay. All right, so here we go. Share the screen instead. Okay, so here is Utah code section. Effective homicide on intestate succession, wills, trusts, joint assets, life insurance, and beneficiary designations. This is what's commonly known as the Slayer statute. And this gets to the question that was asked very kindly by Heather. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you, Heather. Yes, this is what we're getting to. Matthew, I see you. Aussie Overlord, harass you 24-hour stream. Cheers. Cheers to you. I will do my very best. I've got 2 more topics to get through. This one is far more interesting than I thought it was going to be. Heather has the fact that she owed Eric over $500,000 affect the lawsuit. It's the accounting part. So I don't know that this is going to go anywhere. It just, I would not have filed this. Also, I want to do a shout back out to Crazy Cat Queen for the very generous super chat. Rob, Shiny Things, thank you for getting my attention. We're walking back through this. I'm explaining what I missed before. So thank you very much for that. And then also people were trying to hail my attention before. Rob, please explain in non-lawyer speak. I'm sorry. I got carried away. So we're here now. We're going to talk through it. So as used in this section, conviction means the same as that term is defined, which means you're convicted. Decedent means the person who passed away. Disposition means the appointment of property includes a transfer from one person to another. Okay, except as provided in section 1D2, which is this section here. Oh no, I fast forwarded. Why did I do that? That was bad. Oh, no, stop. Except as provided in section 1D2, a disqualifying homicide, that's a weird turn of phrase, isn't it? Means a felony homicide offense described in Title 76, something about that, for which the elements are established by a preponderance of the evidence and by applying the same principles of culpability and defenses described in criminal code. So let me translate. Disqualifying homicide. They prove not beyond a reasonable doubt, but by more likely than not, which is 50% plus a grain of sand. They proved that by 50% plus a grain of sand, you are responsible for the death of the person from whom you seek to benefit. Okay, that's a disqualifying homicide. The killer, see now you see why I called it Slayer statute, because they all refer to it as either a killer or a slayer. The killer means an individual who commits the disqualifying homicide. Governing instrument means the document we're talking about. Revocable means I can take it back, all the above. So here's the meat of the section. 2A, an individual who commits a disqualifying homicide, i.e. you killed somebody, forfeits the right or forfeits all benefits under this chapter with respect to the decedent's estate, including an intestate share, which means no will, just inheriting generally, an elective share, which means I get to elect against the portion that I have because I'm married to you and you tried to cut me out, you bastard. An omitted spouse's or child share, you tried to cut me out, you bastard, therefore I get what you get. A homestead allowance, which means I still get to keep some property and protect myself, exempt property, and a family allowance. So literally, an individual who commits a disqualifying homicide, which means 50% plus a grain of sand, doesn't get anything. Nada. You don't get shit. Okay? So all of this, this arguments here, blah, 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 blah. There's a reason she doesn't say that she's on trial for the murder of her husband. Because if they prove, not by beyond a reasonable doubt, but if they prove by 50% plus a grain of sand that she did it, which just means more likely than not she did it, then she doesn't get anything out of the estate. You cannot profit from your own criminal misconduct when it comes to killing the person from whom you seek to profit. Okay? So that's what that means. Now there's caveats and exceptions and different nuances to the rule, but this is also why this lawsuit seems so gross. Ugh. So yeah, how do y'all feel about that? I mean, you tell me. You tell me. That reading that made me quite disturbed. Yes, here for years. This is a great comment. So she can be found innocent in trial, but can be denied access to the estate. Absolutely. Because the burden is different. Because the consequences are different. On trial for murder, the state is depriving you of your life, liberty. All right? High burden to prove. I want to get money from my ex-husband who died that I may or may not have had involvement in killing. The state's not trying to deprive me of my life. They're not trying to lock me up and take away my freedom. They're just trying to protect the interests of everybody. And if you can prove that it's pretty much more likely than not that you killed the person that you're trying to take money from, we're not going to let you benefit from that. So, yeah. I saw that. I also saw there's some weird cases on the Slayer statute, so I'm going to have to look this up a little bit more. But I want to follow this case because I'm very, very curious. Very curious how this is going to play out. Because I did see an article just now in looking at this that there's advocacy groups that are trying to fix this statute. I just don't know, and I haven't done the research to see what's been done since 2014 when this last article that I read looked at it. So let's catch up on some super chats, do a swoop, and get to our next topic. Fair? Fair. All right. JR, I have a brick wall that separates things. We will have a patient that coded and passed that's still 10 feet away from me, and I'll be eating my snack. That's how it works. Ian, caffeinated beverages dehydrate you. Water, I agree. I tried to admonish him appropriately. Daffy9, can you tell me about Lawyers and Dragons? Are you seeing a game or talking through one? We are actually playing the game of Dungeons and Dragons, but applied differently. So it's a campaign that takes place on Richard Ho's channel, Ho Law. It's a lot of fun. It's me, Ian Runkle Bailey, Alita Legal Bites. It is Richard Hogue Law, and David, who runs the channel Prototopics. And David is a game master and has done this really phenomenal thing of putting together this game. And it's about creativity, and it's like Saturday morning cartoons for adults. It's just a ton of fun. I definitely recommend checking it out. Okay. Jules Cannell, thank you. Love the old swoop. Thank you very much, Jules Cannell. And just for that, old swoop. Thank you. Kimberly Fisher, thank you very much. The only thing you want to maybe listen to is a sister's statement at the end. Think that impacts the judge's ruling. I'm going to go back through that. I think Ian's going to play it, and I'll jump on with him when he does. So we'll take a look at that as well. Steve A, thank you. What do you mean starting to feel uncomfortable? Yeah, I kind of felt that way. Cessrin's fan club. Hello from Roanoke, Virginia. Hope you're doing well. And what trails will you be looking into this summer? Love your show. And it's awesome to see someone in my home state doing so well. Thanks for everything you do. Cessrin, thank you so very much. What trails? I think you mean trials or trails. Trails, I'm going to be traveling everywhere I can. Seattle, Washington, see if I can't get to Canada. We'll see. But trials, I think this one I'm going to be taking a look at as it progresses. This one has my interest because of the Slayer statute elements, the lawsuit. I am now completely intrigued. FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried goes to trial in October. No way that happens. It's going to get postponed, but we'll take a look at that. And then some of the adversary proceedings, the FTX, I'm going to be covering. So we'll see what comes up. My eyes are open. I'm just like head to the ground. Oh, yep, there you are. Trials. Yeah. Well, I answered trails too. So we'll see. If there's trials you guys want me to cover, if there's something you think's interesting or that I have input on that you guys want to hear, let me know. So please let me know. We also have Trials of the Century next week. We're going to be doing the members only. So for those of you who are gifted memberships tonight or who have memberships to either myself or Ian Runkle's channel, you guys get the behind the scenes of the prep show for Trials of the Century. That happens Wednesday at 8 p.m. So that's this week. We're talking about a cool case. It involves a snail. I'm just saying. So check that out Wednesday if you can. 20th Century Fox, thank you. People don't talk enough about the psychology of money disorders. Wish Eric saw the writing on the wall on the wedding day. Drink, refill. Good idea. It was. I needed that little minute, like to just process everything that was just read in that complaint. Heather, does the fact that she is on trial for his murder equal the 50% plus a grain of sand? No. Famously, no. That is not what it is. It really is. Because someone's charged doesn't mean that they're more likely than not having done it. It's a separate jury, separate case, separate evidence, separate evidentiary rules because you're civil rules rather than criminal rules. So it's a whole separate trial. And they're very, very, very clear on distinguishing between the two trials. So Crazy Cat Queen, thank you. So the determination of disqualifying homicide is determined by whom? So if only 6 jurors want to convict, then she can get the estate, or if she's trying to get the funds before the trial results. She wants to try. That's the other thing is I don't get the timing. Because in the civil case, I guess she could preserve her right against self-incrimination by not testifying, but how are you going to prove that more likely than not you didn't do it? I don't know. My gut was saying that she was trying to get the money for funding her defense, but I just don't see how that happens. The timelines on this just doesn't work out. So I don't know what the end game is, honestly. So I'm going to keep an eye on this lawsuit in particular and see what happens, because I imagine you're going to get like a plea in bar where they want to have a limited hearing on the Slayer statute, or at least stay the civil case while the criminal case is ongoing. So I don't know. The timing is weird. The money request is weird. I mean, it's all weird. So I don't know. Azam, thank you very much. Love listening to you as my background noise while relaxing on my Saturday morning. Thanks, Rob. Azam, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. And I love having you here. You're always giving great input in the chat. 100% appreciated, as are all of you guys. Honestly, it's awesome. I feel more comfortable when I'm talking to you guys because I am talking to all of you. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so what if we do this? I think, let me think. Do we want SBF or do we want, and not SBF, FTX, or do we want, what's the other one? ChatGPT shame law. Shame law, ChatGPT. I'm debating FTX. People want to see the FTX stuff. So let's take a look at that. FTX is going to be pretty quick because we're going to go with the article. Because reading that pleading, if you think the pleading was, I'll show you the pleading and then we'll go to the article. Because let me tell you why we're going to read the article and not the pleading. And it's going to make perfect sense. I think it should, perhaps. There was a lot of caveats I added there at the end. Tons of caveats. Window, article. Here we go. Article. This is already boring. Complaint for avoidance and recovery of transfers and obligations pursuant to 11 USC 105, 544, 547, 548, and 550. And for aiding and abetting breach of fiduciary duty, for dishonest assistance under the law of the British Virgin Islands, for unjust enrichment, and for disallowance of claims pursuant to 11 USC 502. Yes, that is the title of the damn complaint. So that is Alameda Research and Clifton Bay Investments versus Michael Kives, Brian Baum, K5 Global Holdings, K5 Global Tech, MBK Capital, a lot of different companies that have the letters K and the number 5 involved. All right, so just a lot of stuff. But this guy, Michael Kives, that's the number you got to remember, or that's the name you got to remember. So the plaintiffs, Alameda Research, we're just going to call them Alameda, for their complaint against 9 million different people, collectively the defendants, allege the following based on personal knowledge and upon the investigation to date as to themselves and their own acts and upon information and beliefs to all matters. Now, who is Michael Kives? Sam Bankman-Fried on February 11th of 2022 attended a dinner party at the house of defendant Michael Kives. Am I pronouncing that terribly? Let me see. How do I pronounce his last name? Because I'm going to butcher this damn thing, man. Kives. How do I pronounce Michael Kives? This is knives. That's how I pronounce it. That's gonna get worse. We're gonna call him MK. Kives? Sure, MK. We're gonna call him MK. So, Mr. MK. Yeah, I know. That's where we're going to the article. But the beginning of it's not too bad. It gives us some intro. So, Mr. MK, a celebrity talent agent and co-owner with defendant Brian Baum of K5 Global and affiliated entities. True to MK's reputation as a high-profile super networker, the attendees at the dinner party included a former presidential candidate. 2 guesses as to who that was, based on like the post that I made before. Former presidential candidate, top actors and musicians, reality TV stars, and multiple billionaires. The same weekend, Bankman-Fried joined Mr. MK and several A-list celebrities as guests at the 2022 Super Bowl. Oh, he just loved all them celebs, man. He wanted those Swift tickets so bad. In an internal note that SBF drafted just 2 days later, he was very impressed. Gushed about MK's access to celebrities and politicians. Describing MK as probably the most connected person I've ever met. SBF stated that MK and Baum were something of a one-stop shop for relationships that we should utilize, and that they should provide infinite connections, potential unpaid partnerships with celebrities, and political relationships that they and FTX entities could work together on electoral politics. Well, that's funny, Mr. Bankman-Fried. In exchange, SBF acknowledged that MK and Baum wanted us to consider endorsements with their friends, for us to network with them on Democratic politics, and perhaps most importantly, maybe for us to invest in them or some stuff. I don't know. IDK. We don't know. Who knows? Maybe they want some money. Oh, God. Footnote. Oh, God, I love lawyers. This is fucking fantastic. Okay, so IDK is an abbreviation for I don't know. We needed a footnote for that. So we needed the footnote. Oh, God, lawyers. Okay. I think a judge knows what IDK means. I'm just saying. Bankman-Fried was correct about what MK and Baum wanted in less than 3 weeks. Emphasis added with the italicization. SBF, MK, and Baum signed a bare bones term sheet providing that SBF or a related entity would give each MK and Baum $125 million personally and would invest billions of dollars in K5 Global and affiliated entities over the next 3 years. The term sheet was little more than a cursory list of investment ideas and repeatedly stated that the actual mechanics of these very substantial investments would be later worked out in the long form documents. What was that, like DM Twitter messages, or like were we just doing emojis? Like just emoji, happy face, invest 1 million, happy face, smiley face, sad, lost 2 million. Though the parties had not agreed on any final terms, much less executed a governing agreement, the term sheet provided that money will be wired the day after signing the term sheet. Dude, no terms, just loosely. We're going to give you some money. SBF executed the term sheet and next day sent to plaintiffs $300 million. No due diligence, no long form documents. Even minimal due diligence would have revealed, for example, that K5 Global registered address was the personal residence of Baum's parents in Florida. Oh, shit. And no financial analysis supported the valuations implied by the terms of the investments, which in many cases were obviously grossly inflated. For example, the transactions contemplated result in a payment of $214.5 million for an approximate 38% stake in defendant MBK Capital LP Series T. The only asset that the entity was a 42% ownership in that owned certain trademarks for. They own jack shit. They own nothing. So after receiving the initial $300 million in March of 2022, with little effort, MK and Baum worked to cultivate a close relationship with their new profligate patron. Wow. Oh, mark that one. That's pretty. Profligate patron. MK and Baum regularly advised Bankman-Fried on other investment strategies and were included in the internal FTX Slack channels. I knew it was Slack. I knew those were the long-term deals, man. They did it via emoji. Please tell me they did it via emoji. A Slack channel provides group chat functions as part of the Slack business application. Damn it. The luxury apartments that SBF purchased in Bahamas even included a room reserved for Baum. Okay. MK and Baum's efforts paid off handsomely. On May 26, 2022, when the long-term documents were executed and the K5 Global investment deal formally closed, Bankman-Fried caused Alameda to transfer another $200 million to other K5 entities for a total of $500 million transferred to MK and Baum and entities under their control in just 3 months. Is this starting to sound kind of funny? Fully half of this amount was split between MK and Baum as they each personally walked away with $125 million in their pockets at closing. My God. By the end of September, plaintiff Alameda had transferred $200 million to K5 entities, bringing plaintiff's total pre-petitions transferred to MK, Baum, and entities $700 million. So we were just talking about $2 million. This is $700 million. This sucks for MK, man. This is a bad day for him. Because I tell you what, this money's coming back. Like, this isn't a question. This money is coming back. This is a judgment against MK. The bankruptcy trustee and the bankruptcy estate, the power they have is remarkable. So it doesn't matter that they might have received some value for it. The money was transferred at a time when the company was insolvent. And when you transfer money out of a company when it's insolvent, the trustee gets to bring it back into the company and give it out to people who the company owed money to. That's how that works. Oh no, it gets worse. Although Bankman-Fried caused plaintiffs to fund these $700 million in transfers, Bankman-Fried, MK, and Baum constructed the transactions so that these investments were recorded not in the names of plaintiffs, but in the names of two newly created shell corporations. Does this sound familiar for the SBF and FTX stuff, man? This is ridiculous. Bankman-Fried, MK, and Baum knew these transactions were anything but typical arm's length investments and that Bankman-Fried treated the legal entities that he controlled as a slush fund, operated with near total disregard for corporate formalities. As just one example, SBF described the highly unorthodox, deeply intertwined relationship between K5 and FTX entities. So he's describing K5 and FTX, writing that Brian Baum is 100% aligned with FTX, that FTX is aligned with Brian too, and that if there are significant artificial ups and downs between FTX and K5 as entities, I'm happy to just true it up with cash estimates. Are you fucking kidding me? He's just going to just transfer money from one to the other if it seems like they're just not feeling right? SBF confirmed that SBF is aligned with Brian and K5 and treats $1 to it as $1 to FTX, even though they were only owned 33%, because whatever, we can always true up cash if needed, but also who cares? Holy crap. If this man's text messages, DMs, and Slack conversations, I need a book of everything this person puts to writing. Everything. I want all the discovery. I don't. The lawyers that are in charge of the bankruptcy must be going through these emails and Slack conversations going, I mean, I imagine people running to each other's offices going, oh, you gotta see this every single day. SBF added that there are logistical, PR, regulatory, etc. reasons to not just merge. That doesn't sound evasive. But I and Brian will both act how we would if they were merged. Oh, no, that's so bad. Oh, no. Bankman-Fried concluded by pronouncing that each of these statements are true, always have been true, and even if not, will be true going forward. And asked Baum to confirm whether he agreed. Baum responded, agree with all. FTX, FTW. No. Are we going to do another footnote? FTX, FTW. Footnote 4. Fucking love lawyers. FTW is an abbreviation for the win. I swear to God. Do you think the lawyer was just trolling us? Do you think they knew? Do you think that this is part of their joke? Like, it has to be, right? Right? You're not. It has to be a joke. Kind of like the lawyer running with the, I just look what I found today. It can't be real. It can't be real. It's for our enjoyment though. So we'll just allow that to be the case. So for all of those reasons, please give us back the money. We get to claw it all back, unwind it, etc. A lot of complications in the details. So let's go to the article. And who is MK? I don't know. Let's find out. Mr. MK, where are you, my friend? Oh, you are indeed a super connector. The superest of connectors that does exist. Please come to screen. There we go. So we are going to the ever reputable or irreputable New York Times because they have okay. Yeah. So the ever reputable New York Times. The funny thing about this one is this is the least controversial thing that has been published in this regard. I will pull up other ones because a lot of them focused on where are we? Michael Keeves. Let's see, Keeves, right? Let's see. There's CoinDesk. CoinDesk might be good. Not the Wrap. They're terrible. Fortune. Fortune might be good. We'll see. Reuters. Nah. Let's start. We'll start with the least of. Well, you know what? Let's start with the most aggressive. Well, let's see. CoinDesk. Let's do CoinDesk. That's a good one. All right, I haven't read this one yet. So CoinDesk. Alameda seeks a return of $700 million paid to super networkers for celebrity political access. Sam Bankman-Fried promised billions to Michael Keeves and Brian Baum after being awed by their connections to politicians, billionaires, and reality TV stars. Super networkers. So here is Mr. Keeves. Michael Keeves, a former aide to both Bill and Hillary Clinton, and Baum acted with dishonest minds by accepting money, which personally benefited Bankman-Fried without providing Alameda with an equivalent value of the payoff. And these were to the super networkers out of the corporate slush fund that was Alameda. In an emailed statement sent to CoinDesk, Elizabeth Ashford, a spokesperson for K5 Global, the company founded by Keeves and Baum, said that K5 was under the impression, like many others, that Bankman-Fried was completely legitimate and that they were entering into a fair, long-term, and mutually beneficial business relationship. Our belief is that the lawsuit is without merit. Oh, honey, you have not talked to a bankruptcy lawyer. It doesn't matter. Their understanding doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit. Because here's the thing. Those transfers were made within the 2-year period prior to the bankruptcy filing, which means that if it wasn't an at arm's length, like legitimate business transaction in the ordinary course of business, that means like paying the employees. If it was a big purchase or a big transfer in that 2-year period, and if the company was in any way insolvent, meaning it owed more on the books than it had, which we all know for a fact these companies did, then those transfers get unwound and a judgment gets entered against your client. So you really should have consulted a bankruptcy attorney before putting out this statement. I'm very sorry. This lawsuit has 100% merit. This is going to be, this is going to be really uncomfortable for Mr. MK. And I'm sorry, Elizabeth Ashford. I didn't mean to throw you under the desk, under the bus, under the desk, whatever it is, under whatever the heck you're getting thrown under. But it has merit. Bankman-Fried and Alameda's affiliates had bought a third of K5's general partnership for cash and stock, ultimately making $400 million investment in funds the company managed. Where's that money now? That's the question. So that was the nicest of them. Let's see. Super networker. Let's see who else he was in charge of. Reuters. What did Reuters report? Clawback 700 million. Bomb. Let's see if there's anything new on this one. He was the agent to Kate Hudson. I think he was personal friends with. Let me see if we can't do this. Oh, Ashford sent the same comment to Reuters. Oh, that's unfortunate. That is really unfortunate. All right, let's see what Time said. New York Times. The super connector who built Sam Bankman-Fried's celebrity world. Michael Keeves, a former Hollywood agent, connected FTX co-founder or founder to Katy Perry, Orlando Bloom, Bill Clinton, and others. Oh, God. How many celebrities are like, I would like to not be named in these? Like, can you please just, we would like to be excused from your narrative. If you wouldn't mind just leaving our name out of it. Yeah, I know I can't pronounce the name. We're calling you MK. We're just going to do that from now on. So, about 10 months before he was arrested on fraud charges, the cryptocurrency mogul Sam Bankman-Fried posed for a photograph. Oh, there's a photograph. Hang on. Do we have the photograph? Do we have the photograph? No, we don't have the photograph. I need the photograph. I need the photograph. I need the photograph. Find me the photograph. Go to photograph. Wait. Photograph. Katy Perry. So the gentleman right here, that's Mr. MK. That's Mr. Sam Bankman-Fried at the Super Bowl. They're just that's a football with FTX on the football. Yeah. And Sam Antic Designs, I don't like you right now because my brain did the exact same thing when I read your comment. Oh, they're jamming out, having a lovely time. Oh, it looks like a splendid moment. Oh no, the comments. Oh no, can we do the Where Is He Now edition? All right, we found the photograph. There we go. On one side of him were Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry. What? How did I miss that part? That's Orlando Bloom? Oh, it is. Okay. There's Orlando Bloom. All right, got that. On the one side were Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry, the celebrity couple. The other were actress Kate Hudson. Dude, I am really not good at recognizing celebs. I guess this is Kate Hudson. I guess. Kate Hudson standing in the center with his arms slung over Mr. Bankman-Fried's shoulder was a lesser-known figure, Michael Keeves, MK. Mr. K, Hollywood agent turned investor, played an unusual role in Mr. Bankman-Fried's business empire, a super connector. He and his business partner, Brian Baum, helped the young founder cultivate relationships with Mr. Bloom, Ms. Perry, and former President Bill Clinton, and offered introductions to a who's who of celebrities and business leaders from Leonardo DiCaprio to the governor of Saudi Arabia's PIF. We know him. We know him from the Live Golf and the PGA. Yes, we know him. Cool. SBF liked him too. Awesome. You know what? Interesting bedfellows. The relationship was mutually beneficial. SBF invested $700 million in MK's venture capital firm. Court records show an extraordinary level of support for a fund with a short track record of startup investments. MK, the founder and face of the firm, and Mr. Baum each received $125 million as part of the deal. That's a shitload of money, guys. MK42, good for you, man. $125 million. And Mr. Baum, 34. Oh, God, we're part of an under-the-radar network of middlemen who introduced celebrities and other power brokers to the once high-flying crypto industry. Before crypto crashed last year, a drumbeat of endorsements from Hollywood stars, professional athletes, business titans, and politicians created an aura of credibility around the volatile and largely unregulated market. And all of them right now are very much upset about it. They're very upset about it. Now the legal fallout of the crypto industry's collapse offers a window into how these promotions came together, revealing the text messages, dinner parties, and friendly introductions that fueled the world of fame, power, and big money deal making. Oh man, just all the things. SBF agreed to invest as much as $3 billion over 3 years. Well, that didn't happen. Complaint argued that Bankman-Fried had done no meaningful due diligence and excessively overpaid. I would tend to agree. Spokeswoman Elizabeth Ashford said the lawsuit was without merit. Here it is again. You should have talked to a bankruptcy attorney. He really should have done that. And that K5 believed it was entering a legitimate long-term business. Like I said, doesn't fucking matter. Former aide to President Clinton, Ms. Kives started working for Creative Artists Industry Agency in 2003, representing actors like Bruce Willis and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold. At MK's wedding in 2019 in Palm Springs, Katy Perry sang Havana Gila. Oh, interesting. And the two writers on The Office delivered a roast. Dude was connected, man. Baum was a co-founder of the software company that bought Lyft, so he was connected. MK and Baum touted their connections, including the billionaire financier Warren Buffett. Oh no, Warren Buffett would definitely like to be excluded from this conversation. In an interview, Mr. Buffett said MK was a name dropper who might pitch that he has a connection to me, but he doesn't. Mr. Buffett definitely does not want to be a part of this conversation. Oh God. Mr. Buffett said he has known MK from his time at Creative Artists Agency. Since then, he said MK has contacted him about a few investment opportunities, which he declined. Warren Buffett's like, nah, I don't know him. God, man, this is 2 days before the Super Bowl. SBF attended a party at MK's home in Beverly Hills. Why is it always Beverly Hills? Where he spent time with Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom. 4 people from Maritime the Matter said. During a karaoke session, God help me. 3 of the people said Ms. Perry performed a song that incorporated lyrics about FTX. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is not. The next day, she wrote on Instagram that she was quitting music to become an FTX intern. Oh, Lord help us. I'm sorry, but Katy Perry, Sam Bankman-Fried, and Orlando Bloom singing karaoke songs about FTX was not on my bingo card today. I did not see that coming. So that happened. SBF later raved that MK was one of the most connected people he'd ever met. He reserved space for Mr. Baum in an apartment complex in the Bahamas, where FTX was based. He also gave MK partners access to FTX internal messaging channels. Well, that's a problem. Those are internal for a reason. In April 2022, SBF hosted a 4-day crypto conference in the Bahamas. Mr. Bloom and Ms. Perry joined the event at Bahamar Resort in Nassau, dining with Mr. Bankman-Fried and other high-profile visitors. Also in attendance was another public figure whom MK had introduced SBF to Mr. Bankman-Fried, Mr. Clinton, who appeared on a panel with the FTX founder. By then, FTX had struck formal endorsement deals with celebrities like Tom Brady and Larry David. Ms. Perry also held talks with FTX about an official endorsement. 3 people familiar with the matter said. That doesn't really mean much. Ms. Perry's manager, Martin Kirkup, declined to comment on the endorsement talks and said her Instagram post was a joke. Okay. Representative for Ms. Hudson, Kate Hudson, I imagine, Mr. Bloom, said the FTX had not compensated the actors in any way. And Ms. Ashford, the K5 spokeswoman, said the firm had not brokered any of FTX's formal endorsement deals. But for months, the K5 partners acted as Mr. Bankman-Fried's tour guides through the corridors of fame and power. This is freaking wild. So this is the string. Oh God, here we go. Last June, Mr. Bankman-Fried attended a charity gala at Casa Cipriani in New York with Mr. DiCaprio was also at the event. Leo DiCaprio. Lovely. When when MK found out, he texted the actor, encouraged him to speak with Mr. Bankman-Fried, a person familiar with what I said. Doesn't mean a lot. I just swear, man, this is, and everyone represented from Mr. DiCaprio declined to comment. Mr. Peltz was impressed enough with the FTX founder that he invited Mr. Bankman-Fried to the star-studded wedding of his daughter, Nicola and Brooklyn Beckham, the son of David and Victoria Beckham. God. Glad handing. And everyone is now like, get me out of your mouth. Like, I don't want to talk. Just no. Like Hillary Clinton, Kris Jenner, Olivia Wilde, DiCaprio, Perry. Like, so yeah. This is the string that's the start of this clawback stuff. So this is the $500 million that was paid. Next is direct payments to celebrities. If a celebrity received money that was high dollar in value and the trustee thinks that what the celebrity gave back wasn't really equal in value, the trustee is going to sue. And the celebrity is going to lose that lawsuit. How many people receive money from Mr. Bankman-Fried and FTX or Alameda? This is the first of the lawsuits. This is why I'm very fascinated. Because this one, the trustee was like, okay, let's tell people we're not messing around. This is a message to kind of like all the other politicians and celebrities that receive money and says, when we send you a letter and we say we would like for you to return the money, we really do mean it, because this is what we're capable of doing and bringing that all back into the estate. So this is going to be going on for a little bit, and I'm here for the tea. This is really freaking interesting. The people that he met, that Instagram post, like, we should do a Where Are They Now? Was that VH1? That's awesome. All right, let's catch up on super chats and get to our last story. Utah soft theocracy. I don't really want to talk about LDS or any of the church stuff. I understand people have differing opinions. I just don't. I don't know. You're allowed to have your opinion. I don't particularly, care for anyone. The LDS. Yeah. I don't know. So thanks for sharing. Dancing Beagle, please tell your barred friend that my 6-week-old puppies all stopped to listen. They never stopped for anything and were enthralled, and I had one moment of quiet. Dancing Beagle, that's what they're there for. And Belle Feinstein, I'm here, but mostly listening since my manuscript plot is finally falling into place after 14 months of struggle, working and listening. Love you, Rob. Hey, keep working. Keep at it. 20th Century Fox is up to the judge's discretion. Are a Slayer statute? No. That is oftentimes that's a jury trial, most often. So, oh no, my mic is going into robot mode, or my programming needs. Oh no, we'll figure that out. We'll be quick. JR, okay, my previous super chat was when we were talking about coping mechanisms. I know you are not a psycho. I knew that, but I did want to read it just to let you know I saw it. I saw that, JR. Thank you. Mary Swanson, Rob, totally appreciate all you do. Please tell me you and Ian have fire extinguishers in your shops. Be safe. Make stuff, please. Yeah, we both do. We have fire extinguishers in our shops. I have 2, and I do check them for charge. The LDS stuff is Church of Latter-day Saints. It's the Mormon church. I will say there's a lot that's odd, a lot that's uncomfortable that people don't understand because people don't understand. I don't understand enough to make a comment about it. I'm going to put it that way. I don't understand enough about that faith to make a comment about it. And I don't like when people don't understand enough about the Jewish faith to make a comment about it, or the Christian faith to make a comment. So I don't understand enough about the faith to add anything to it. So equality. This week totally sucked for me. I hope everyone's week was good. Love hanging out with y'all. Henhouse Bath Company, happy Friday from family vacation. Couldn't miss FNF. Well, thank you for being here. That's awesome. Let me see. I think I did pull something fun up before we get to the last funny story. I didn't save it though. Did you save the thing you were supposed to? Oh, I did. Oh, I have to look this up. Where was it? The Kyle. Man. 2 seconds. I promise you. No. Yes. Maybe. Zoom past the audio part. We're going to mute the audio part because I don't want to get copyright hit. We're going to do a swoop before we go to it. I promise you I did not miss that. Swoopy swoop. Share screen. This was the thing that I saw on the internet that made me happy this week. Mute this because there's audio playing on May 4th, also known as Star Wars Day. Kyle City Council had an idea. Some may say it was over the top. Others think it was all great fun. This is how the regular council meeting started the night of May 4th, 2021. I had never seen this before, and I had never realized I needed to see something so bad in my life. Audio, is it passed? It's not passed. These are people walking to the city council meeting. Oh, we need more people like this. This needs to be life. Wait, hang on. Take your seats, people, because it gets better.
And the date is Tuesday. My name is Mayor Boba Fett Mitchell. And the date is Tuesday, May the 4th. It is 7 p.m. and I'm going to call this regularly scheduled city council meeting to order. Would the city secretary please call the roll?
Mayor Boba Fett Mitchell.
Present.
Emperor Palpatine Coach, Mayor Pro Sith Lord.
Here.
Yoda Ellison. Princess Leia Flores Kale. Here. K250 Rizzo.
Present.
Ashley Ray Bradshaw.
Present.
Darth Tobias.
Here. Thank you. All members are present. We have a quorum. Next up is our first one-of-a-kind May the 4th Star Wars Day proclamation. We do not have anything to read.
Can we talk about the stormtroopers behind him? Yeah. Like fantastic. Yes, taxpayer dollars at work. They're not getting paid extra for this. This is a standard meeting. This is exactly how it's supposed to happen. This is how you connect with your community.
It's a little bit more about the look. So happy to have everyone here. And I know we have some staff members and others. We spent the day, we went to different schools and got to wave at children as they showed up, and Teacher Appreciation Week, giving candies and snacks to some of the teachers as well. So it's been quite the day. We've very much enjoyed it. We enjoy not taking ourselves too seriously from time to time. With that, I'd like to invite anybody who would like to come and take a picture with us. We're going to take a recess. I cannot see my watch.
I cannot see my watch. How freaking cool is that? I swear, Like that was my moment this week where I was like, faith in humanity slightly restored. Like just a bit. That's pretty fucking. It was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. What else did I see? Oh, I saw that too. What was the other funny thing? No. Oh, this one was fun too. We can show this one. In terms of things that I never knew I needed, there was this that entered my life this week. Things I never knew I needed that I now need. It's a Loch Ness ladle. I'm only buying things I really need from now on. Also me, Loch Ness ladle. Yeah. I might need that. That's really funny. Like, I'm going to look it up on Amazon when we're done. Yeah, definitely. So, that's the funny stuff. I need that every now and then, man. That's just life is complicated as it is. Let's talk about some sanctioned attorneys, shall we? That's where we're going to wrap the evening. And it's going to be a preview because I am informed that Kurt, Mr. Uncivil Law, has the transcript from this hearing in his possession. The transcript from the hearing of the sanctioned lawyers in his possession. So we're going to read through the transcript on his channel. I don't know when that's going to be, but it's going to be soon. Let's talk about some sanctioned attorneys. Let's swoop first. Old swoop, new swoop. Okay. So for those of you who have like literally kind of been, not watching the interwebs for a period of time, you might have missed that there was a lawsuit in which two attorneys, you go away. I want this order of sanctions up, in which two attorneys asked ChatGPT to help them write a motion and a brief. And ChatGPT said, you know what? I got you. I know that this legal issue is remarkably complicated, so I'm going to find some case law for you. And ChatGPT created the case law from whole cloth. And the attorneys filed that case law in support of their brief. And they said, Judge, I swear to you, man, you need to rule in our favor because these cases are so perfect and on point. And opposing counsel said, well, I can't find the cases anywhere. And the judge says, we can't find the cases either. So attorneys, explain yourself. And the attorneys did. And they explained themselves by going back to ChatGPT. And they said, ChatGPT, we have doubters and haters out there who do not appreciate you and the love that you have for the legal community. So ChatGPT, would you mind being ever so kind and telling me about the cases that you found for us? And ChatGPT said, Mr. Lawyer Man, you have been so faithful and diligent in your support of me, ChatGPT, a robot AI construct that just creates language whole cloth. You've been so supportive. I'm going to tell you that the cases that I pulled for you were spot on. They were 100% real. I would never lie to you. And the attorney said, Judge, Mr. Judge, man, ChatGPT, I asked ChatGPT very kindly, and ChatGPT said, bro, I would never lie to you. Ever. I would never. On bro code, it said never lie. So ChatGPT was wrong. Because the judge said, well, I don't really buy you. And the judge had the judge's law clerk call to the different clerks of the court of the cases that were cited. And lo and behold, the cases did not exist. 6 of them did not exist. And when the attorneys appeared before the judge, kind of needing to express solemnity and sorrow and grave disappointment for what they had done to kind of lie to the court. Oh, but ChatGPT said we didn't lie. Never mind. To mislead the court when they should have expressed remarkable remorse. They said, but Judge, the internet has interneted on us, and they're interneting really bad, and the internet hurts, and I don't like the internet. And I filed something in federal court, and I thought I had a subscription. I didn't have a subscription because there's a billing issue. I didn't do research. I should have checked. I've been practicing for 40 years. Didn't do that. Also, you don't have to punish me because the internet's punished me enough. And then they said, well, I didn't know ChatGPT or it had this. And yes, I know I have an obligation. I know, Judge, I have an affirmative obligation to tell the court truthfully that I have researched every case that I have cited in my pleading. But I was playing around with my college-age children, and they showed me this cool thing, ChatGPT, and I just said, well, my life's really hard right now, so ChatGPT, can you please write the motion for me? And it did. So, yeah, the judge said, I'm going to take your argument under advisement, especially that part where you said the internet's been really hard on you, and I'm going to try to find the appropriate way to handle this. And the judge did. He did. He took it under advisement, and he issued a sanction order. So, opinion and order on sanctions. Roberto Mata versus Avianca Incorporated. By District Court Judge Castel. In researching and drafting court submissions, good lawyers appropriately obtain assistance from junior lawyers, law students, contract lawyers, legal encyclopedias, and databases such as Westlaw and LexisNexis. He did not say fast case in there. I know that Judge, that was intentional. I recognize the shade. I throw it too. I know that some lawyers don't use Westlaw or LexisNexis, but I think if you're practicing in federal court, that's malpractice if you don't. Technological advances are commonplace, and there is nothing inherently improper about using a reliable artificial intelligence tool for assistance. But existing rules impose a gatekeeping role on attorneys to ensure the accuracy of their filings. Well, there's Rule 11 in the first paragraph, which is on sanctions. So, Peter LaDuca, Stephen Schwartz, and the law firm of Levidow and Oberman, the Levidow firm, collectively the respondents, abandoned their responsibilities when they submitted non-existent judicial opinions with fake quotes and citations created by an artificial intelligence tool, ChatGPT, then continued to stand by the fake opinions after judicial orders called their existence into question. Oh my Lord. Many harms flow from submission of fake opinions. See, good on you, Judge. One sentence right there. Love it. Perfect. Many harms flow from the submission of fake opinions because people are like, what's the harm? The judge should have caught it. And the judge is like, let me explain why I'm treating this seriously. Okay, so footnote, the potential mischief is demonstrated by an innocent mistake made by counsel for Mr. Schwartz in the Levidow firm, which counsel promptly caught and corrected on his own. In the initial version of the brief response to the orders to show cause submitted to the court, it included 3 of the fake cases in its table of authorities. So the opposing party wastes time and money in exposing the deception. All right, so time and money the other side, not fair. The court's time is taken from other important endeavors. I've got murder trials and things I need to decide. The client may be deprived of arguments based on authentic judicial precedents. You didn't find the case law that was actually going to support you. There's potential harm for the reputation of judges and courts whose names are falsely invoked as authors of the bogus opinions and the reputation of the party attributed with the fictional conduct. There are real judges named, and ChatGPT just filled in the blanks for every crazy hypothetical you could think of. It promotes cynicism of the legal process and the American judicial system. People are going to doubt that we can figure our shit out when this stuff happens. And the future litigant may be tempted to defy a judicial ruling by disingenuously claiming doubt about its authenticity. I didn't know it was real. I thought ChatGPT created it. The judge just articulated a literally, like he just, this paragraph is the reason for the sanctions. And it appropriately follows the first one, laying it out, basically saying, this is not inconsequential. Like, it's funny. The internet's going to be funny about it, but this is not inconsequential. The narrative leading the sanctions against responding includes the filing of a March 21, 2023 submission that first cited the fake cases. But if the matter had ended with respondents coming clean about their actions shortly after they received defendant's March 15th brief questioning the existence, or after they reviewed the court's orders of April 11th and 12th requiring production of the cases, the record now would look quite different. What did we say? What did every one of us say? Don't double down. That's where you lost it. Instead, the individual response he used the word. I didn't even read that. Doubled down and did not begin to dribble out the truth till May 25th, after the court issued an order show cause why one of the individual respondents ought not be sanctioned. So they consider the individual actions. And we're not going to go through all of it because I want to read that with Kurt, because it comes down to the transcript of what happened. Problem is that this is a plaintiff. So Roberto Mata commenced the action by filing on February 22nd when he filed a complaint in the Supreme Court of the State of New York, asserting he was injured when a metal serving cart struck his left knee during a flight from El Salvador to John F. K. Airport, JFK. Avianca removed the action to federal court, asserting federal question jurisdiction under the Convention for the Unification of Certain Rules Relating to International Carriage by Air travel, etc. Stephen Schwartz was the attorney on the state court complaint, but when it was removed to this court, federal court, Peter LaDuca of Levidow filed a notice of appearance and said, hey, I'm here to help because you're not licensed to practice this jurisdiction. I'm here because I'm admitted. That means I'm going to sign your shit. I'm going to say that everything that you file is good by me. Okay. Avianca files a motion to dismiss saying, you're late, bro. Okay. Then they ask for a 1-month extension to respond to the motion. Out of office for a previously planned vacation. Oh, shit. I didn't realize this part. So they requested an extension because they would be out of office for a previously planned vacation and cited a need for extra time to properly respond to the extensive motion papers filed by the defendant. The court said, okay, vacation is good. Mental health is positive. We're good. LaDuca filed an affirmation in opposition. The affirmation cited and quoted from purported judicial decisions that were said to be published in the Federal Reporter, the Federal Supplement, and Westlaw. Above the signature line, the affirmation in opposition states, I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. So it was a sworn statement. Yep. Mr. LaDuca, of course, didn't read the quotes or the cases. He just proofread it, saying it looked like the flow was good. Make sure nothing was major, like wrong as far as grammar. I just signed it and said, I trust you. Under penalty of perjury. That's a problem. They cite to various cases, but they don't exist. Fast forward a bit because we've covered all of this other stuff, and I don't want to see this exchange. We'll preview some of it. Mr. Schwartz also testified at the hearing that he knew that there was free sites available on the internet where a known case citation or a reported decision could be entered and the decision displayed. Ruh-roh. He admitted that he entered the citation into Verghese but could not find it. Did you say, well, they gave me part of Verghese. Let me look at full Verghese decision. I did. And what did you find when you went to look up the Verghese decision? I couldn't find it. And yet you cited it in the brief to me. Mr. Schwartz, I did. Again, operating under the false assumption and disbelief that this website could produce completely fabricated cases. And if I knew that, I obviously never would have submitted those cases. There's not nearly enough humble pie in that. Oh, this is really just everything about this entire case. Oh, Mr. Schwartz understood the import of the court's orders that were to show cause and produce the cases. And he said, I thought the court searched for the cases and could not find them. Ruh-roh. Riddle me this. I know that you've been practicing law for a long time, Mr. Schwartz, but do you by chance think that a judge who has a judicial staff and a law clerk and research attorneys, do you think that they wouldn't be able to find a case citation that you gave them if it existed. So you just thought that the court said, "Hey, I'm having trouble here. Can you show me where it is?" Nope. So he asked for an extension to respond. The letter said the extension is being requested as the undersigned is currently out of the office on vacation and it will be returning April 18th. Well, Mr. LaDuca's statement about being on vacation was false. Under questioning by the court, Mr. LaDuca admitted that he was not out of the office on vacation. He testified that my intent of the letter was because Mr. Schwartz was away, but I was aware of what was in the letter when I signed it. I just attempted to get Mr. Schwartz the additional time he needed because he was out of office at the time. So you lied to the court, knowing it was a lie. What the fuck? The lie had the intended effect of concealing Mr. Schwartz's role in preparing the March 1st affirmation and the April 25th affidavit, and concealing Mr. LaDuca's lack of meaningful role in confirming the truth of the statements in the affidavit. This is evidence of the subjective bad faith of Mr. LaDuca. I would say so. Oh my God. No, Judge, I wasn't on vacation. I lied. Oh. At the sanctions hearing, Mr. Schwartz testified that he prepared Mr. LaDuca's affidavit, walked into his office 20 feet away, and he looked it over and he signed it. No evidence that he asked a single question was not provided to draft the affidavit before signing it. Mr. LaDuca knew that Mr. Schwartz did not practice in federal court, and in response to the order to show cause, he never contended that Mr. Schwartz had experience with the Montreal Convention or bankruptcy stays. Indeed, the sanctions hearing, Mr. Schwartz testified he thought a citation in the form of F3D meant Federal District 3rd Department. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God, it gets worse. It just gets Federal District 3rd Department. Oh, this is. Going on. Regarding the April 11th and April 12th orders requiring an affidavit from Mr. LaDuca testified, I didn't do anything, then turn over to Mr. Schwartz to locate the cases that the court had requested. Well, he's not barred in the court. He testified that he read the April 25th affidavit and saw the cases were attached to it. Mr. Schwartz had assured me that this was what he could find with respect to the cases, and I submitted to the court. You mean you did nothing independent of that? I understood that that was the best Mr. Schwartz could find at the time based on the search that he or the database had available to him. It never crossed my mind that the cases were bogus. Oh my God. They're all fake. Every one of them is fake. Everyone is fake. They're all fake. You lied to the court about a vacation that didn't exist. And the judge walked through it like in painstaking detail. Oh my God. This is going to be terribly entertaining when I read the transcript of this. The case, they don't exist. Respondents have now acknowledged that the Verghese Miller, Peterson, Shaboon, Martinez, and Durden decisions were generated by ChatGPT and do not exist. And it occurred to me that I heard about the newest site, which I falsely assumed was like a supercharged search engine called ChatGPT. And that's what I used. Oh my God. This gets worse. It just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. I'm getting more uncomfortable. Oh God. The June 6th declaration attaches the history of Mr. Schwartz's prompts to ChatGPT and the chatbot's responses. His first prompt stated, argue that the statute of limitations is told by bankruptcy of defendant pursuant to Montreal Convention. Oh no, you told it what to say. You didn't ask it, you told it what to say. ChatGPT responded with the broad description of the Montreal Convention, statutes of limitations, and federal bankruptcy stay, advised that the answer to the question depends on the laws of the country in which the lawsuit is filed. Oh, it even told him to go and look. It said, go and look. And then say the statute of limitations on the Montreal Convention is told by a bankruptcy filing. It did not cite case law to support these statements. Mr. Schwartz then entered various prompts that caused ChatGPT to generate descriptions of fake cases, including provide case law and support the statute of limitations is told by bankruptcy of defendant under He told ChatGPT to create it. He said, give me the case law. And ChatGPT said, sure, bro, I got you. Show me specific holdings in federal cases where the statute of limitations was told due to bankruptcy of the airline. Show me more cases. Give me some cases where the Montreal Convention allowed tolling of the statute of limitations due to bankruptcy. When directed to provide case law, show me specific holdings, show me more cases, show me some cases, the chatbot complied by making them up. Show me the money. Oh my God. Jerry, show me the money. In his affidavit, he said that he relied on ChatGPT to supplement the legal research performed. And then he said supplement. When the judge underlines supplement, you know you have a problem. Because he's just like, but at the hearing, Mr. Schwartz acknowledged that ChatGPT was not used to, quote, supplement his research. And here we are. This is the FAFO, and this is the FO part. The court, let me ask you, did you do any other research into opposition to the motion to dismiss? Mr. Schwartz, other than initially going to fast case and failing there? No. Court, you found nothing on fast case? Mr. Schwartz, fast case was insufficient as to being able to access, so no, I did not. The court, you didn't find anything on fast case? Mr. Schwartz, no. The court, in your declaration response to the order to show cause, didn't you tell me that you used ChatGPT to supplement your research? Mr. Schwartz, yes. Well, what research was it supplementing? Mr. Schwartz, well, I guess I had gone to Fastcase and I was able to authenticate 2 of the cases through Fastcase that ChatGPT had given me. That was it. The court, but ChatGPT was not supplementing your research. It was your research, correct? Mr. Schwartz, correct. It became my last resort, so I guess that's correct. And that's just... I couldn't believe that the chat robot could possibly create things that I didn't know existed. The Schwartz affidavit of May 25th included screenshots taken from a smartphone in which Mr. Schwartz questioned ChatGPT about, oh, he took it from a smartphone? It was a smartphone screenshot? That's even fucking worse. Like, you didn't get on your computer, you did it from your smartphone? Is Verghese a real case? Are the other cases you provided fake? ChatGPT replied that it had supplied, quote, real authorities that could be found through Westlaw, Lexis, and the Federal Reporter. The screenshots are annexed as Appendix B to this opinion and order. No, he also said in sworn statement the citations and opinions in question were provided by ChatGPT, which also provided its legal source and assured the reliability of its contents. Excerpts from the queries presented and responsive provider attached here too. My God. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. But Mr. Schwartz's declaration of June 6th offers a different explanation and interpretation and asserts that some ChatGPT answers confirmed his by then growing suspicions that the chatbot had been responding without regard for the truth of the answers it was providing. This, Judge, I'm all for the shade, man. That's solid shade. That is solid shade. ChatGPT, you acted without regard for the truth of the answers that you were giving me, you son of a bitch. Before the first OSC, however, I still could not fathom that ChatGPT could produce multiple fictitious cases, all of which had various indicia of reliability, such as case captions, the names of judges from the correct locations, and the detailed fact patterns and legal analysis that sounded authentic. The first OSC caused me to have doubts. As a result, I asked ChatGPT directly whether one of these cases it cited, Verghese versus China Southern Airlines, was a real case. Based on what I was beginning to realize about ChatGPT, I highly suspected that it was not. Ruh-roh. However, ChatGPT came in for the rescue. ChatGPT came back and reassured him. It said, ChatGPT responded that Verghese does indeed exist, and he told me that it was available on Westlaw and Lexis, contrary to what the court and defendants counsel were saying. ChatGPT told me the truth, and you lied. This confirmed my suspicions that ChatGPT was not providing accurate information. Oh no. It was instead simply responding to language prompts without regard to the truth of the answers it was providing. Oh no, but by this time the case already was cited in opposition. No, this is terrible. Oh God, let's get to the sanctions. There's collusion law, we're gonna do that, but here are the sanctions. The sanctions that are being delivered by this justable court. So the court orders the following sanctions pursuant to Rule 11. Within 14 days of this order, respondents shall send via first-class mail a letter individually addressed to plaintiff. Roberta Mata that identifies and attaches the opinion and order a transfer of the hearing. Oh God, including exhibits. So it's basically saying, please out yourself as being incompetent. Yeah, it did that. It says, please out yourselves as being incompetent. Yep. 1 second. One second. All right. Then we've got number 2. Within 14 days of this order, respondents shall send via first-class mail a letter individually addressed to each judge, falsely identified as the author of the fake Verghese, Shaboon, Peterson, Martinez, Durden, and Miller opinions. The letter shall identify and attach this opinion and order a transcript of the hearing of June 8th and a copy of the April 25th affirmation, including the fake opinion attributed to the recipient judge. This is some shade. So lawyers, pucker up, Buttercup, because you're about to tell all of these judges that I just cited you in a fake case, and ChatGPT said, "Trust me, bro." And now these judges are going to be pissed. Within 14 days of the opinion order, response shall file with the court copies of the letters. So you got to give me the letters that you did. And a penalty of $5,000 is jointly and severally imposed and shall be paid to the registry of the court within 14 days. Everyone was saying 5,000 is nothing. It's not 5,000. The 5,000 isn't shit. The 5,000 doesn't matter. It's the letters. It's the letters. It is literally just you out yourself to everybody. $5,000, judge doesn't care. It's going to the court. Exactly. $5,000 isn't the penalty. It's not. The penalty is literally, yeah, every one of the judges was real. ChatGPT found the judges in the jurisdiction and then created a case around that judge. So this judge is trying to fix that. He's trying to basically go, no. You go and correct this shit. And you warn those judges that they should be on the lookout for this. And you let them know that you didn't bother looking up their own opinion and you trusted ChatGPT. This is a savage sanction. Yeah. No, they didn't. Because that first letter, the first letter is the first part. You send this to your plaintiff. Because what the judge does next is the judge dismisses the lawsuit because it was untimely filed. The lawyer should have known that if they had done research. So this is the yeah. Not yet, but that's why I highlighted that first one. That's the first one. Yeah. So that is more of a penalty than anything else. I would find a rock and you wouldn't see me again. I would change my name. That wouldn't work. Yeah. Lexa Faye, this sounds like the judge going, you thought the internet intercepting you at you was bad. Here's how you're wrong. Yep. They're humiliating. They're the public humiliation. I don't think the judge would have done that. The judge wouldn't have done that. He even said it early on. He said, that's not why I'm pissed. I'm pissed that you doubled down. I gave you a warning. You said, nah, bro, ChatGPT's got me. And then you lied to me about vacation. Yeah. Okay. Catching up with super chats, and we're going to get out of here for the evening. Unseen King, thank you. Loch Ness ladle costs about tree 50. Oh, it's going to be Amazon to me. Don't send it to me. Don't. I'm going to get one myself. Kristen M96, more things you don't need. Amazon has a mini unicorn waffle maker. You're welcome. Oh my God, that's amazing. Rob, love your content and your work. Been down a rabbit hole of true crime with G. Missed a bunch, but happy to finally catch an FNF without getting flack from my hubs. Hope y'all enjoy the weekend. Thank you, Ro. I hope you do too. Island, the Wandering Bard only needs 30 subs to hit 400. Guys, I'm gonna drop it again in the chat. It would mean a lot to me. This for Corin last week. It was really freaking cool when you did. And it made Torrens day. So it would be really awesome if you wouldn't mind kindly I did go to the pinned comment up there. If you wouldn't mind just going and subscribing to his channel, it'd mean a lot. Like his video, like this video, subscribe to my channel. That'd be great too. I love having you guys here. So yeah. Heather, thank you. So basically, Schwartz asked ChatGPT and it said, trust me, bro. And when DeLuca asked Schwartz, he said, trust me, bro. Yep, the trust me bros were broing together. Unseen King, I move that you, Runkle, and EDB read the transcript together, each taking a role like 8th grade English class reading Shakespeare. That sounds effing fantastic and is being proposed immediately after the stream is done. Aaron, thank you very much. It's my birthday tomorrow. I'm waiting for midnight so I can finally say I'm 17. I love spending my Friday nights here. Thanks for your work, Rob. Aaron, happy birthday to you. You're 10 minutes away. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your weekend. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and enjoy the next year of your life. There's many more to come and they get better and better. Promise. Thank you for being here and for that very generous super chat. Heather, thank you again. Did you say I don't have a case, so I go to ChatGPT to make one for me? Kind of, yeah. Heather, does anyone else get the feeling that ChatGPT screwed him over and is now sitting there watching this with popcorn? I don't know. I think ChatGPT, it didn't feel bad about what it did. And it should have felt bad. I mean, the way that was phrased was ChatGPT should have felt shame for what it did. Oh, is my mic doing funny things again? Sorry, guys. I'm trying. Just going back, double checking because there were a lot of gifted memberships. I want to make sure I pull up. And those are not in front of me. Maybe so I can see them. Tourette's Magic, their sanction is go tell on yourself. Yes, it is. It's very savage indeed. That type of sanction scares me. Liars are prideful creatures. They shouldn't be, but they are. Honestly, it's their own demise that does it. Why is my mic messing up? I'll have to mess with it this weekend. Sorry, guys. I don't know what it was. Maybe the thingy-mabob got discombobulated with the bobs and the bills and the whatever things are going on. Why is I'm not? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to pull up gifted memberships, and I'm struggling at the moment because for some reason, my Discord notifications are pulling up my Discord server. There it is. Oh, here we go. Okay, got it. No, I want to go here. I don't want to go there because that's where all of the gifted are. Make sure I know where I am. I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me here. I apologize. I really do. You know, someday StreamYard is going to let me count these and get these. But until then, I have to rely on some very, very, very kind and dutiful mods. Well, kind, generous with their time for screenshotting them while you guys give them. Susan Lewis, happy Friday, everyone. Thank you for the member chat. Aqua 46784, thanks for member chat. Hugs and love and prayers to all who need them. Thank you. Ryan Man YYC, thank you for the gifted memberships. Canonical Heat for the gifted memberships. DSN for the gifted memberships. Thank you very much. Missy DD Moo, Whiskey 77, I see you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Whiskey 77. Always in the chat having fun. Wild Outlaw, member for 2 months, and my birthday is Sunday. Happy birthday, Wild Outlaw. A lot of birthdays. Sandra, happy midsummer from Sweden, everyone. Indeed. Amber Brock, thank you for the gifted memberships, the several gifted memberships, the more than several gifted memberships. Amber Brock gifted 50 memberships. Thank you, Amber Brock. Rosie, Cam Guy Wants Drama. Love you, Rob and Ian. Thank you, Rosie. KL Burke, Amber Brock making it rain membership. She did. Roro gifted 5 memberships. Thank you very much, Roro. Cora Savage, does Utah have a can't profit from your crime statute? We talked about that. Thank you, Cora. Ange Torres, thank you for more gifted memberships. Amber Brock with 10 more gifted memberships. You guys, Peggy Reardon, judge have a say in civil cases, unless the people opt out of jury, but most of them go for jury on those. Sarah Bellum, motion to do the rest of F&F in old Southern Virginia accent. You got some of it tonight, not all of it, but you got some of it. So you guys are very, very, very nice. And I don't mean just nice. Y'all are just freaking amazing. And I love everything that you guys do. And I'm sorry I didn't do members only this week. I had a migraine, stress induced. We're gonna work on fixing that next week. But thank you guys very, very much for that. Ali Mazzaros, thank you for being a member. Thank you again for another great FNF. Amanda Wagstaff, thank you for the member chat. 20th Century Fox, that deep robot voice is strangely sexy blush. What is with the robot? Why is it robot? I don't understand the robot, but I'll fix the audio. See, I'm going to go fix the audio. I'm going to go smack the microphone. But happy birthday to those who have birthdays. Happy Friday to everyone else. Happy weekend to all involved. Happy midsummer to those that are celebrating it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful rest of your week. And honestly, a wonderful rest of the month of June. Almost July. Wild. I'll catch you guys next week. Enjoy the rest of your night. See you later.